no. Good evening, everyone. Let me call to order this meeting of the West Palm Beach City Commission. Today is Monday, February 3rd, 2025, and the time is 5 p.m. We will begin this meeting, as we do all of our meetings, with a moment of silence, acknowledging there's a lot of hurting people out there, so whoever you feel appropriate. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. President Ward, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to remind everyone of the rules of civility and decorum which govern this body. Officials shall be recognized by the chair and shall not interrupt the speaker. Public comment shall be addressed to the City Commission as a whole and not to any individual on the dais or in the audience. Displays of anger, rudeness, ridicule, impatience, lack of respect, and personal attacks are strictly prohibited. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stamping of feet, whistles, yells, and similar demonstrations should not be permitted. Please govern yourselves accordingly, as offenders may be removed from the meeting. Also, any person desiring to speak on a matter before the commission shall complete a comment card for each agenda item the person wishes to address, and that card shall include the person's full name, address, and the numbered agenda item. And note that if the card is not completed in full, the person will not be recognized. Thank you. Madam City Administrator, are there any additions, reorganization, deletions of the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. We do have two proclamations tonight and a presentation. We'll start with the proclamations. We will start with recognizing 211 Awareness Week. We all think of 211 as a helpline with friendly people on the other end, but you may not know that 211 is considered an angel number. The spiritual significance behind this unique number is a message from guardian angels of growth and awakening that can guide a person on their life's journey. That is 211. So in its 54th year, we will proclaim February 11th through 17th as 211 Awareness Week. And here to accept the proclamation for those guardian angels who have taken over 3 million calls since 1971 is Sharon Lareau, President and CEO of 211 for Palm Beach and the Treasure Coast. Sharon? Sharon?
Sure.
Microphone right there. Yes. Please tell them.
That's okay. Yes, sir, I will tell them that I'm not Sharon. Sharon wasn't able to make it this evening, so I'm Ty Barnes. I'm 211's Chief Strategy Officer, and I'm here to represent her this evening. Commissioners and staff, thank you so much for this recognition. 211 is the only community helpline and crisis hotline serving our area 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're a free and confidential resource that's accessible by call, text, or chat. Last year, we received over 120,000 requests for help, and over 20,000 of that 120,000 came from individuals that identified themselves as residents of the city of West Palm Beach. Of that 120,000, 4,500 of those were suicide calls because we also answer the National Suicide Lifeline, which many of you may know as 988. The top needs people expressed over the past year were obviously housing insecurity and the increase of housing costs, seconded closely by overall financial distress and making ends meet, and thirdly by stress, mental health, and addiction needs. Anyone facing struggles can reach out to 211 and get a caring voice, and they will also get concrete help. In addition to suicide prevention and crisis intervention, which is what we are most known for, we also have programs for children, for parents of children with special needs, for caregivers, for elderly residents, for veterans and first responders, and we maintain a 1,600 agencies within our database. So it's literally thousands of programs, health and human services programs, to help those residents in need. So in times of crisis or in times of everyday needs, reach out to 211. We're here to help. Thank you again for the recognition.
Our second proclamation is for Black History Month. It is with great pleasure that we begin February by reflecting on and championing American history, locally recognizing 6 great Americans, Black Americans, as heritage heroes and honorees, and proclaiming February 2025 as Black History Month. Black History Month was celebrated during the second week of February 1926, coinciding with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. President Gerald Ford expanded the celebration to a month during the nation's bicentennial in 1976, and I am happy that the city of West Palm Beach is continuing that tradition. Black history is indeed American history. So tonight, we will recognize heritage honorees with a heritage pin. 5 of those 6 honorees are present tonight. My honoree, President Ava Parker, president of the State College, will receive hers at a subsequent City Commission meeting. And so the West Palm Beach City Commissioners will decorate their honorees, and we will begin with Commissioner Ward. Her honoree is Tanya Rich of Rose Trolley. And I'll turn it over to Commission President Kathleen Ward, District 1 Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I guess it's good I don't have to go behind your speech this time, because usually yours is pretty moving. So just start off strong. You guys don't have any expectations.
You'll start out strong.
Yes. Tanya Renee Rich was born and raised in West Palm Beach, Florida. Her parents moved from Riviera Beach to West Palm Beach when she was just 2 years old. Tanya attended King's Academy, Westward Elementary, Gulfview Junior High, and graduated from John I. Leonard High School. She's a proud alumnus of Alabama A&M University and Strayer University, as well as an Army veteran who has dedicated her life to service. Upon returning to West Palm Beach, Tanya realized the area was not only a paradise, but also a place with significant needs. Together with her brother Terry, she began volunteering in 2012 with Trinity United Methodist Kitchen Ministry, assisting with meal preparation and delivery. In 2022, Tanya and Terry noticed that many of the seniors they served frequently needed transportation to pick up prescriptions, attend doctor's appointments, or shop for groceries. This inspired the creation of Rose Trolley and their nonprofit organization. In the pursuit of enhancing their business, Tanya, alongside her brother, has participated in and graduated from the Mayor's Jumpstart Academy, E2C, and 1909, along with numerous other organizations, earning a range of certifications along the way. Through Rose Trolley, Tanya has made an immense impact on equity zones and legacy neighborhoods by providing free or low-cost transportation and serving the community in countless ways. She has become an advocate and voice for these neighborhoods, ensuring they are seen, heard, and treated fairly. Rose Trolley is more than a transportation company, it's a lifeline for the community. Each month, they deliver up to 500 nutritional hot meals, 300 boxes of fresh fruit and vegetables, and 75 hygiene bags, making a tangible difference in people's lives.
Tanya has never sought to be in the spotlight, so much so that when I asked for her to be recognized, she was immediately resistant. Sweet about it, but immediately resistant. Her focus has always been on getting the work done and ensuring that everyone has access to the transportation they need. In addition to her work with Rose Trolley, she actively participates in neighborhood cleanups, believing wholeheartedly that cleanliness is next to godliness. She encourages everyone to do their part to make the city of West Palm Beach the best it can be, reminding others that it doesn't take much to do a little, and that even some actions can have a big impact. And while most people know her for her presence in the historic Northwest, Tanya is at every police meeting for the whole North End. She is an advocate. She doesn't just come to discuss issues. She comes and presents solutions, and is always a great person to speak with. And a lot of my district knows her for her activism, as well as those beautiful trolleys that she drives around in. Tanya credits her parents, Titus and Emma Rich, as her greatest heroes and strives every day to make them proud. She always recognizes that nothing would be possible without the unwavering support of her sidekick, her brother Terry, her loving daughter, and her precious grandchildren. Furthermore, she acknowledges the many people who have assisted in countless ways to make Rose Trolley what it is today. Their support and contributions have been invaluable, and without them, none of this would have been possible. She carries her father's favorite song as a mantra for her life. I don't feel no ways tired, close to her heart. I don't feel no ways tired. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. These words inspire Tanya to continue her work with unwavering dedication to her community. So let's honor Tanya.
Yes, yeah, you can speak. Okay. Hi, everyone. My brother usually says I either cry or I talk too much, so I had to write something down to go ahead and just let you know how I feel. I just want to sincerely thank Commissioner Ward for the acknowledgement. I truly appreciate it. To the commissioners, Commissioner Fox, Commissioner Warren, Commissioner Lambert, and Commissioner Peduzzi, thank you. Mayor Keith James and your dedicated staff, thank you for your commitment to ensuring that underserved legacy neighborhoods have access to safe and reliable transportation. A special thanks to the CRA under the leadership of Chris Rugg, and to Mr. Hayden and Ms. Sandra for your unwavering dedication to Rose Trolley and the countless other small businesses. To Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, and a lot of them are here today, thank you, and there is so much more work. I could do none of this without my younger sidekick brother, Terry. And I want to also thank my mom and dad, who instilled in me that giving is far greater than receiving. I am forever, ever grateful. To my family and friends, and they know who they are, some are here today, thank you for allowing me to vent and borrow your shoulders when needed. And most importantly, to the neighbors we serve every day, thank you for allowing us to make a small difference through transportation, through our meals, through our music, through our laughter and encouragement, and the hot pink trolleys. Your trust and support mean everything. Thank you all.
Mr. Everett Fennell and National Honor Society engineers, our second honoree. District 2 Commissioner Shalonda Warren will decorate Mr. Fennell with a heritage pin.
Thank you. I would like to start by saying that I have tried for over a decade to acknowledge Mr. Fennell and the work that he does. And for a decade, he has graciously declined my offer. The humility in this gentleman is beyond anything that I can say, but thank you for everything that you do, Mr. Fennell. Mr. Everett Fennell, a native of Daytona Beach, Florida, is the second oldest of 4 children born to Carly Mae and Everett Fennell. He was an active student at Campbell Senior High School, where he was a member of the National Honor Society and earned varsity letters in both football and baseball. Everett's father owned a construction company, and working alongside him sparked Everett's interest in science. After graduating from Campbell High School, he continued his education at Tuskegee State University. While at TSU, he became a proud member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, Mighty Rho Psi, and met his future wife, Brenda Johnson. Everett went on to earn a Bachelor of Science degree in electoral engineering from Tuskegee State University. Everett has over 50 years of experience in the electrical power industry, taking on progressively greater responsibilities in project development, marketing, design, and studies for electrical unity infrastructure. In 1982, Everett founded E.C. Fennell, P.A., ECF, as his personal consulting firm. After reinstating the company in 2002, he made the decision in 2011 to expand its services. Today, ECF is a leading engineering and consulting firm providing mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, MEP, solutions to a wide range of clients, including utility companies, private developers, and public agencies. Their expertise includes energy consulting, business systems engineering, and construction administration, all tailored to meet industry standards, emerging technologies, and client needs. What started in 2011 with just 2 employees, and I know one of them, grew by 2012 to ECF had 20 employees. And today, the company has expanded to over 160 team members. Beyond his business success, Everett is deeply committed to community service. For over 20 years, he's volunteered on the Construction Board of Adjustment and Appeals for the City of West Palm Beach. ECF also runs a summer internship program for students interested in engineering, giving them hands-on experience in the field. Additionally, ECF has proudly supported more than 30 community organizations over the years. One of Everett's major accomplishments is the construction of a 20,000 square foot building that serves as the corporate headquarters of ECF. This building is dedicated to his parents, Carly Mae and Everett Fennell, and I know that this building is a monument. It's beautiful in the heart of West Palm Beach, as has Mr. Fennell's business been in West Palm Beach for the duration of the time that he has been serving. Everett Fennell has 1 daughter, but before I go there, I want to say that Mr. Fennell, your support for this community, for community-based organizations, for small Black-owned businesses. I can tell you personally that about 10 years ago, there was a family who the husband was involved in a freak accident on the side of 95. He was struck by a drunk driver, and he was decapitated. And the family, the mother had 4 children that all had a debilitating disease. Well, 3 of the 4 had a debilitating disease. And their home was making them sick. And it required extensive work. And I did not know where to begin. I did not know how to get started. I lamented and lamented. And I reached out to Gerald Parrott and Mr. Fennell, and I said, I need your help. And we could not begin the project without them donating 100% of their engineering services and design services to the project that allowed us to remake the home of the family that lived there and ultimately aid in their living a better quality of life. And you've never allowed me the opportunity to thank you publicly for that work, but I thank you here today for that. I thank you for everything that you have done. I know that you are very proud of your family. You're proud of the people, your mother and father. You're proud of your one and only daughter, Shauna Fennell Hawkins. You're proud grandfather of 5 grandchildren, Jalen, Jazz, Jordan, Jace, and Jabril Hawkins. And it is wonderful to be able to see and know that your daughter, who once sat on your shoulders, is now standing by your side and helping to lead an agency that is employing so many people that are circulating dollars and live here in West Palm Beach. You, sir, are not just Black history. You, Mr. Everett C. Fennell, are legacy. And I thank you.
Quickly, Mayor James, obviously our relationship goes back many years, and appreciate that support in those early days in formulating the business and supporting our activities as the firm's attorney. To the commissioners, especially Commissioner Warren, thank you guys for recognizing me for the contributions to the community. The wife and I moved to this area in '86, and it became home. As we were blessed and fortunate enough to grow the business and saw the need to be able to provide support back to our fellow West Palm Beach residents, we felt obligated to do so. It's been a pleasure. The home office for our firm is here. We have offices in other locations around the country, but this is home. And to the community, I got to say, reach out to the civil servants, let them know how much you appreciate what they give back on a daily basis. We appreciate that support. We appreciate the leadership you guys provide to them. And I'd like to leave that comment with you guys, but thank you all very much.
Our third honoree is State Attorney Alexia Cox. Legacy South Florida Magazine's Trailblazer of the Year will be decorated by District 3 Commissioner Christy Fox. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to celebrate Black History Month tonight and to recognize a remarkable leader who has made history in Palm Beach County, our newly elected State Attorney, Alexia Cox. A Palm Beach County native, Alexia's career has been defined by excellence, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Now, as state attorney for Florida's 15th Judicial Circuit, she leads a team of 115 prosecutors and 180 professional staff across 5 offices, ensuring that justice is served fairly and effectively for our entire community. Her nearly 2-decade-long legal career speaks for itself. She has prosecuted hundreds of cases and has been a champion for victims and a fierce advocate for fairness in our justice system. But what has really set Alexia apart, what has made this moment so well-deserved, is her unmatched dedication and relentless work ethic, which she has demonstrated throughout her career, during her service to the community, and throughout her journey to this office. She has never shied away from hard work, never taken a shortcut, and never wavered in her commitment to justice and public service. I've witnessed many campaigns over the years, but I have never seen a candidate put in the kind of effort that Alexia did. She was everywhere, from neighborhood meetings to community gatherings, from church halls to town halls, listening, engaging, and making sure every voice was heard. She never took a single vote for granted, and it was clear to everyone who met her that this wasn't just about winning an election. This was about serving the people of Palm Beach County. She earned the victory not just through her impressive and extensive experience and qualifications, though she has both in abundance. She won because her heart, her perseverance, and her unshakable commitment to this community. She showed up, she listened, and she made it clear to every single person that their voice mattered. That's the kind of leader she is, and that's the determination that paid off. In a historic race, she didn't just win. She ran against actually it was 4 men, so I wrote 3 and then I realized there was 4 of them. She ran against 4 men and beat them all. She shattered barriers and she made history. Beyond her legal work, Alexia has remained deeply committed to the mentorship and community service. She believes that mentors matter and dedicates her time to uplifting young women and single mothers, helping to shape the next generation of leaders. Her service extends to numerous community organizations, youth programs, and legal professional groups, which she continues to make an impact. Her leadership and dedication have been recognized time and time again. She is the recipient of the Justice Barbara Pariente Award from the Palm Beach County chapter of the Florida Association for Women Lawyers, was named Trailblazer of the Year by Legacy South Florida magazine, and was honored with the Women's Chamber of Commerce very first Rising Star Award. In 2024, she was recognized by the Palm Beach County Black Chamber of Commerce as an Ascension Award recipient. These accolades are a testament to her profound impact on both the legal profession and our community. Alexia, your election as state attorney is not just a personal achievement, it is a milestone for Palm Beach County. Your journey inspires us all, and your leadership is shaping the future of justice in our community. But perhaps most importantly, you are showing young girls, especially little girls right here in Palm Beach County, that they can dream big, work hard, and break barriers, that their voices matter, and that they can lead too. So on behalf of the City of West Palm Beach, we congratulate you, we celebrate you, we thank you for your dedication, service, and unwavering pursuit of justice. Please help me in honoring State Attorney Alexia Cox.
Good evening. I said I wasn't going to cry. I know everyone who has heard me speak since I won the election is probably sick of my tears, but when I tell you I am so overjoyed and proud and blessed and fortunate to be in this community, to be from this community, and have the opportunity to serve this community. So I wrote a few words down just so that I would not get lost in my emotions. First, thank you, Commissioner Fox, for those heartfelt words. It meant so much to me. Mayor James, thank you for your leadership, your support, and your friendship. To each of the city commissioners, the city staff, and community members who are here witnessing what, I'm so happy you're here to share this with me, because no one would believe all the great things you said about me, so I'm glad I have witnesses here to attest to it. But I want to thank you all for your support and trust. I look forward to working with our new police chief to develop and implement strategies that will keep our community, this community, safe and thriving. It is a deep honor to stand here before you as your new state attorney. And as I like to say, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. I have the privilege of leading 115 attorneys and 180 staff members who get up every day to handle about 50,000 cases ranging from misdemeanor, theft and traffic crimes, all the way up to the most heinous capital first-degree murder cases in our community. As a native of Palm Beach County, I've had the opportunity to protect our most vulnerable. I've worked in that office for almost 2 decades, and during that time, I've been able to stand up for victims and protect our community in a community that I've known and loved my entire life. My formula for public safety is simple: police plus prosecutors plus the public equals public safety. And what that means is greater collaboration between police and prosecutors while also engaging our community is my plan for keeping our community safe. And so I want you to know that when you hear those words from me, it's not just something that I read about in a book. It's something that I truly, truly mean. I want to make sure that communities across Palm Beach County know that they are seen, know that they are heard, and that their voices are valued. And so I thank you all again for the opportunity to be here. I acknowledge members of my staff, my office, who are here with me today to share this moment. Thank you for your partnership, City of West Palm Beach, and most importantly, thank you for the trust that you have placed in me as your state attorney. God bless you all. Thank you.
Dr. Emma Banks, principal of Inlet Grove Community High School, is our fourth honoree. District 4 Commissioner Joe Peduzzi will decorate Dr. Banks. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor, and it is my distinct honor this evening to recognize someone who lives in my district, a neighbor of mine in the development that I live, Dr. Emma Banks. Dr. Banks holds a Doctor of Education, and she is the CEO, founder, principal of Inlet Grove Community High School, and has held the position since its inception as a conversion charter school in 2004. Today, Inlet Grove is a high school performing A-rated high school with 99.3% graduation rate and 100% minority female graduation rate. Dr. Banks is a visionary business, community, educational leader, and an actress. I have to ask you about the actress part later. Her leadership skills empower students to possess the skills they need to thrive and be successful in the 21st century. She is the only African American woman to own a charter school in Palm Beach County. She has inspired other African Americans to do the same. Born in Monticello, Florida, Dr. Banks graduated from Roosevelt High School and moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she attended nursing school. She later moved to Delaware, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Distributive Education/Marketing from Delaware State College. She was married to the late Clotie Banks Sr., who is deceased. She is the mother of 6 children, Clotie, Monica, Andrea, Octavia, who is also deceased, Kimberly, Angel, and Ariana, 4 adopted of different nationalities. While attending college, she worked as a licensed practical nurse at Smyrna State Hospital for 13 years. She returned to Florida, where she earned a Master of Science degree in Curriculum and Instruction, Administration, and Supervision from Nova University. She also earned a specialist degree in educational leadership and a doctoral degree in organizational management, and also from Nova Southeastern University. Dr. Banks is a highly regarded as a child advocate. It was not long after her return to Florida that she proved her commitment to supporting the education and well-being of the children in the community. Dr. Banks developed and implemented the first successful Mentors program for teen parent students in Palm Beach County School District. In the 1970s, she went to Nova Southeastern University Board and asked them to provide weekend classes for Palm Beach County teachers, and she was informed if she could get together 50 teachers who wanted to take classes, they would provide the classes. Not only did she get those 50 teachers, she got 100 teachers to sign up for the first week of classes. That is how Nova University started the weekend classes in Palm Beach County for the Master's in Educational Doctoral Program. Dr. Banks created the My Teacher, My Hero Awards Gala 20 years ago, and this event will take place on May 3rd. Little plug there for everyone, at the Convention Center in West Palm Beach, Florida. The purpose of this event is to raise money to help students get their feet in the door of a college or university so they will be on the road for success. She started and published the first African American magazine called Vision. This magazine showcased African Americans who had a successful career in education, business, sports, financial, government, food and dining, arts and entertainment, and African Americans on the move. She started the first film festival in Palm Beach County in 1995, before Palm Beach County started their festival in 1996. She wanted to highlight and showcase African Americans in the southern region who were in the film industry. She couldn't compete with the county, so she gave it up. She started the first children festival at the fairgrounds in the early 90s to inform parents of the social services that are available for their children in Palm Beach County. She started the first African female nonprofit organization, Vision Teen Parent Foundation programs in Stony Brook and Broadmoor Apartments in Riviera Beach. The purpose was to curtail teen pregnancy and try to get students to abstain from sex and go to college or take a trade so that they would be self-sufficient. She started the first and only alternative to suspension program in Palm Beach County with the help of Judge Moses Baker. This program allows students to go to court instead of being suspended. When they attend court, a parent must accompany him or her. Also, they must complete a reading, math, and science assignment from the experience of going to court. That program is still in place today with a success rate of 99.5%, and they all attend/finish college. Some of the students who have finished college are now teaching at her school. She produced and directed a children teen talk show called Our Future Generation Teen Talk Show, which aired on Channel 5 WPTV. This program was about teen issues that teens struggle with and ways to help them. She is now in production of this show today. Before the Mayor's Ball became a reality, Priscilla Taylor came and informed her that she wanted to raise money for the homeless. And I asked her, why don't you have a Mayor's Ball? That is how the Mayor's Ball became a reality. It's just one thing after another, Dr. Banks. It's impressive. Her passion is helping the needy and students in Palm Beach County. Every month she gives out food to senior citizens in Riviera Beach. She continues helping the Urban League with their food drives. She continues helping the needy as well as small nonprofit organizations by giving them financial support. She has appeared in Empire, The Pilot, and performed in several off-Broadway shows in New York. She has turned down many roles due to taking care of her children. She has a list of memberships that the mayor is probably not going to allow me to read because we could be here half the night, but let me read some of her awards and honors. She is a recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, Florida Center's Proclamation given by Senator Bobby Powell, Outstanding Education Visionary Award, Transformation Leadership Award, Lifetime Achiever in Education Award, Outstanding Community Partner Award, Outstanding Community Award, the Edify Beta Sorority Delta Chapter Soror of the Year Award, Diabetes Coalition Champions Award, Champions Charter School Pioneer Award, Community Giants Award, Community Leadership Award, the Educational Award, JM Family Foundation, American Achievers Award, Lifetime Achiever Award, Minority Television Producer Award, the Governor's Outstanding Leadership Award, Urban League Trailblazer Award, Executive Woman Leadership Award, Outstanding Businesswoman of the Year Award, Outstanding Vocational Administrator Award, and the South Florida Magazine Award. It is my tremendous honor this evening to present this proclamation to Dr. Emma Banks. This first. Thank you. You want to say a few words?
Yes.
Let's put this here. We'll put this down over here for you.
I really don't think I need to say anything because I don't have anything else to say. But I would like to thank the commissioners, the mayor, and all my friends and my family for their support. First of all, I would like to thank God for allowing me to be here tonight. And Mr. Peduzzi, I would like to thank you personally for bestowing this award. Such an honor to me. Even though you said all these glowing things about me, I don't think they're true. Okay? Somebody just wrote it for me, okay? I am humble and I feel overwhelmed and emotional because I don't like to talk in front of people. I like to talk only to my staff, and we have a field day with that. You know, we call it our reality show because we talk about issues, we can discuss things, we can talk about students, how we want to help them, who's doing good, who's doing bad. But as a whole, I am humble and I feel overwhelmed, and as I said earlier, emotional about this. I am at loss for words. This is a special moment for me. I also want to extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to my family. My children are here. My special friends are here, Miss Beverly Morrison, my administrators, instructors, students, friends, and business partners. And without their support, this honor would not have been possible. My journey has always been to be an advocate for children. I was very concerned that when I started my magazine called Vision, and one administrator, we was riding down Blue Heron Boulevard, and we stopped at this shopping center, and I saw some children who said, we asked them why they wasn't in school, and they remarked, this is what they said, show me a black person who have made something of themselves. And during that time, that really resonated with me. And I said, let me go back and start a magazine and highlight the positive things that minorities are doing. So that's how I started my journey. But one of the things, not one, but several things that I tell the students, inspiration quotes, every great dream begins with a dreamer. If you get in trouble, get in good trouble like I do, and help redeem the souls of Americans. Never underestimate the power of a dream and the influence of the human spirit. The time is always right to do what is right. Change will not come if you wait for some other person or some other time. Again, I am grateful to everyone who has traveled on this journey with me and who will continue to travel with me to help our students. As I am always going to be an advocate for children because I feel they're our future. And everything I do, I try to do it for children. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank all of the commissioners for believing in me. Thank you.
Dr. Jamian Lovett is our fifth honoree. Dr. Lovett is a senior pastor at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. Commissioner Christina Lambert will decorate Pastor Lovett with a heritage pin. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. It's truly an honor to be here with each of you and to hear these accomplishments of our incredible honorees as we celebrate Black History Month, a time to recognize the remarkable contributions of Black leaders who have shaped our communities, our city, and our nation. Together today, we gather to honor a man whose leadership, faith, and service exemplify the very best of West Palm Beach, Dr. Jamian Lovett, Sr. Dr. Lovett is more than just a pastor. He is a visionary, a community builder, and a guiding light for so many. As the senior pastor of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, he has transformed his congregation into a beacon of hope and outreach, ensuring that faith extends far beyond the church walls. Under his leadership, Friendship has become a place where youth are empowered, families are supported, and those in need are never forgotten. His work speaks volumes. Through the Northwest Wisdom Academy, he is preparing our next generation of leaders, providing high school students with mentorship and college preparatory opportunities that will shape their futures forever. His partnership with Integrated Healthcare has brought essential medical services, mobile showers, and food distribution to families who need them the most. Many of these services, I know, are what we heard 211 speak about earlier. His unwavering commitment to feeding the hungry, uplifting the underserved, and nurturing our children is an inspiration to us all. Dr. Levitt, your dedication to service, your passion for justice, and your love of this community embody the spirit of Black History Month, not just in words, but in action. Your leadership reminds us that the progress happens, as Tanya reminded us in her remarks, when we lift up others, open doors of opportunity, and serve with compassion. On behalf of the city of West Palm Beach, we thank you for your unwavering faith, your tireless work, and the lasting contribution you make in our city. May your light continue to shine and inspire generations to come. Thank you, and please help me in honoring Dr. Jamian Levitt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And what an honor it is to stand here in celebration and honor of the rich legacy of Black History Month. I am elated to stand here in this historic moment. So first, I want to give honor to Christ, who's the head of my life. Without him, none of this is possible. I did write down a few words. To the Honorable Mayor James, to Commissioner Lambert, to the members of this community, thank you for this recognition on tonight. I'm overwhelmed, I really am. And so tonight, I want to say to the community at large, to the commissioners, it's truly an honor to serve as the senior pastor of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, and also to be a part of this vibrant community over in the Northwest District. My journey of service has been defined by faith, love, and my commitment to build a stronger community. However, it goes without saying that none of this would be possible without the dedication and support of my staff, as well as the volunteers that put in the work every single week. And when I say every single week, I mean every single week. To the volunteers and the staff that are here in this room today that serve at Friendship, I want to say that you guys are the heartbeat of our work, for every initiative, for every outreach undertaking that we take in, every program. You guys are the heartbeat, and I want to say without you, we couldn't do it. From the bottom of my heart, I am grateful, so thank you. I'd also like to say thank you to IHCS, who helped bring the vision of a young kid from Riviera Beach, the vision to come to pass in serving the community for health needs, whether you have insurance or whether you don't. It's a big deal to us over in the Northwest community to serve the community at large. I'd like to say thank you to the Sosno Foundation, as well as Palm Beach Synagogue, for selecting Friendship and Tabernacle to be the first Christian organization to serve the Solomon Leadership Program. It really was a big deal. And with that being said, with high school juniors and seniors, once they complete our program in 12 weeks, they get 3 credits from Palm Beach Atlantic. And so we are excited about that. We are excited about building leaders for tomorrow, the next mayors, the next commissioners of tomorrow. And it's important that we continue to steer them in the way that they should go, and not just forget about them. And so I want to say tonight that this recognition reminds me that collectively we can breed change and to do something extraordinary. I want to say thank you to all of my comrades and confidants that came out tonight, to all of our parishioners at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. I want to say thank you on tonight. Lastly, and certainly not least, I want to say thank you to my wife and my kids. They are, and I don't get to say it much because I get caught up in what I do, but they are still the apple of my eye. And I want to tell them publicly, because of them, I am. As I get ready to leave, I want to say this. Thank you again for this recognition. I pray that we can carry on in the spirit of this moment and everything that we do in the future. If I can leave with a quote on tonight, a couple of things as I think of trees. The character of a tree is defined by the nature of its fruit. We understand that fruit doesn't exist to benefit itself. And because it doesn't benefit itself, it means that it doesn't eat itself. Only rotten fruit eats itself. Simply stated, service is the rent we pay for the space that we occupy. And if I can leave you all with a quote on tonight, when you awaken to who you are, you'll stop knocking on the door of those that sleep on you. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. As I had mentioned earlier, my honoree, Dr. Ava Parker, could not be here tonight. She is the first female president of Palm Beach State College, and we will honor her later. So that concludes this portion of the program, and I know as much as you all want to stay for the balance of the commission meeting, we will provide a moment to allow those to leave, and then we can get on to the balance of our business. So thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all the honorees. All right. Okay. Who are the officers back there?
Armando, help him get out the door so that the mayor can proceed with the meeting.
Thank you. And quietly, please. Okay.
Mayor, that really was something special. Thanks for,
Excuse me?
I was just saying, that really was something special. Thanks for initiating that in the city. This is really
Yes,
great.
no, I think it, when we honor individuals, it really adds to the special nature of the occasion. As someone said, I think it was you, Commissioner Warren, many of the honorees are legacies in our community, and it's good to recognize them. Okay, we will now turn to 7.1, mayoral tribute presentation to Gunster in recognition of its centennial celebration of being a business serving the city of West Palm Beach County, in the state of Florida. I believe the following Gunster representatives will be accepting the tribute: Bill Perry, Chief Executive Officer, Managing Shareholder Board of Directors, and George Lemieux, Chairman of the Board of Directors. Just a few words. Just a few weeks ago, I was honored to recognize the trailblazing firm of Gunster at its offices at Phillips Point. Now, before the community at large, we want to celebrate the heritage and service of this pillar of our community. What started as a boutique firm on the shores of Lake Worth in 1925 is now one of Florida's premier law firms with a national reputation from the halls of government to local families. I also want to recognize other Gunster associates and partners present with us tonight: Brian Seymour, Mike Mitrione, Zach Jacobson, Kim Carey, and Ellie Nissen.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. One or both of you can say a few words.
Thank you. Good to see you, sir. Yep. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam President, and members of the commission. Thank you so much for this recognition. 100 years, it went so quick. You know, when I was in the Senate, we had a tradition of the filibuster, so I hope you don't mind. I've got a long speech that I'm going to make. No. Seriously, on behalf of Bill Perry and myself, the board of directors, and the members of the Gunster firm who are here, we're really grateful for this recognition. We grew up here along with you. Our first office 100 years ago was just a block away, and now we're the largest private commercial law firm in Palm Beach County. We've survived the hurricanes with you in the 1920s. We just survived the Great Depression. We survived World War II. Today, Gunster, 12 offices across the state, more than 300 lawyers, more than 600 team members, working to make not only Palm Beach County the best place to live, raise a family, grow a business, but also that for the state of Florida. So we're super grateful for this recognition. We look forward to the next 100 years with you, and God bless you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gunster, for continuing to keep your home office here in West Palm Beach after all these years. And you have been a tremendous part of our recent growth. So thank you so much. All right, I'd like to now turn to item 8.1, ratification of the mayor's appointment of Antonio Arrojo to the position of Chief of Police. By the way, Gunster, I will give you the same courtesy. I know you want to stay to the end of this meeting, but if you would like to leave, you're certainly welcome to do so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again on 100 years of service. Thank you. All right, commissioners, I do want to bring Interim Chief Antonio Arrojo before you and request the ratification of my appointment to him as the city's permanent police chief, and I'd like to, there are three reasons why I'm bringing this before you at this time. One is his commitment to performance-based leadership. Over the past several months since October, when I appointed him as interim, he has proven through his action, not just through his words, that he is truly the leader that our department and city needs at this time. His performance, vision, and ability to drive results have made it clear to me that he is the right choice for our department. Two is we have spent time together. He has been running this process. When I started the transition, I believe we needed a fresh perspective from outside. But through this process, it has become clear that the chief wasn't just maintaining stability, he was actively improving the department. Indeed, on his own, the chief has initiated a top-down review for the department. His leadership has been tested, and the results speak for themselves. As interim police chief, he took charge of the department, setting clear employee expectations to build a culture of timely, credible, value-driven services to the public. He has reorganized the department to address deficiencies and gaps in leadership effectiveness and delivery of services, which will support stronger community engagement and proactive policing efforts. He's already instituted leadership training through the FBI National Law Enforcement Training Group, and has begun the rebranding the training unit and including a leadership development component to ensure personnel are properly trained and policy focused. In other words, he has been doing the work. And then the third reason is his commitment. It is based upon my commitment to the city. My primary responsibility as the mayor of this great city is to make the best decision for public safety and the people of West Palm Beach. And although I had announced at the beginning, when I appointed him as interim, that we would conduct a national search, I also believe that leadership is about making the best decisions, even if that means that you have to pivot. And again, since my responsibility is to ensure that West Palm Beach has the strongest possible leadership in law enforcement, based upon what I have been observing over the past few months, I'm confident that the interim chief is the right person to take us forward. So I no longer see a need for conducting a national search for someone to lead our department when I know that we have the right man at this time who can lead the department with strength, integrity, and a commitment to public service. For those reasons, commissioners, I solicit your support of my ratification of his appointment as the new police chief of the city of West Palm Beach, and that appointment will be effective March 3rd, 2025. I will now open it up for any questions or comments that you may have on this item.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I could, and I know I'm not a commissioner and I don't get a vote, and I try to stay in my lane as the city administrator, but I do feel compelled to put some comments, on the record, given that, I work day in and day out with the chief, and that is just not from Monday through Friday. Many weekends during this 4-month period, the chief and I are engaged in different issues, whether it's a Saturday or a Sunday. And while you have certainly highlighted, some of the big things that he has done, the behind-the-scene things on an administrative level, I feel needs to be recognized. He has certainly rolled up his sleeve and taken a deep dive in the administrative policies and procedures of the city to get up to speed on them. And one of the other things that I think has caused me to unequivocally support your decision to not go out and to do what is right by making this recommendation, because we have the best person sitting right in front of us, and he has been working with us for the last 4 months. Is that he has, a deep understanding of municipal police departments, how they are structured, how they work, municipal government. And one of the most important things for me is that he understands having a sharp pencil when it comes to the numbers. So I give him very high marks on that. But with that being said, he's going to be leading the largest department of our city with the budget of $97,446 employees, 315 of which are sworn officers. And with all that he brings to the job, I could not share your position, Mayor, any stronger than what I do, independent of your interactions with him, is that you are absolutely making the right decision to pivot from going out to try to find what you have already found in, hopefully, our newly ratified chief of police. And I'm going to now just turn it over to the chief to make his comments.
Over here or over there?
Either microphone works. We have paid the bills.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, community. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. I'm humbled to hear those words. I usually don't like hearing about myself too much, but anyway, I said some of these things this morning. I think it's important I repeat them for those that didn't hear them. And then I'll add a little bit of something at the end. Some of you might not know, but I want to share with you. So since October 2nd, my command staff and I have been assessing the police department, where you have found competent and engaged sworn and professional staff that understand and practice service above self. I want to express my gratitude to all of them, and especially those that have taken up extra duties during this challenging period. Moving forward, we will continue our comprehensive analysis as we plan for the now and the future. I am committed, as is my command staff, to align our agency in all things best practice. Timely, credible, value-driven professional service will be our daily measure as we provide community-oriented public safety services in concert with our community and our governance. Mayor James, commissioners, City Administrator Johnson, and all city staff, thank you for your steadfast support and assistance in our efforts to enhance police services. RPD requires such support, and it is reassuring to know that we do not stand alone. To our community, I have attended numerous neighborhood meetings and events in the last 4 months. Thank you for welcoming me and for your very candid discussions. Those discussions, and many yet to be had, will assist us in better serving you. I commit to you a fair, just, and constitutionally sound posture in all we do. We will be engaged in improving the quality of life of all citizens in every neighborhood on our path to maintaining and growing a public safety footing that is present and accessible to all. One that establishes honest dialogue committed to building partnerships and trust that helps us improve services and weathers the difficult moments. I'd just like to add, some of you might not know, but I moved from Los Angeles when I was 16. One too many earthquakes. I lived in the city, not in Pasadena. We moved to 4000 Greenwood. And then when we moved on up, because my dad was able and my mom were able to buy a house, we moved to 936 45th Street. I'm a graduate of North Shore High School. Julius, if you remember the policeman on the walking the block in Northwood, he knew me very well. I was a little rambunctious when I was young. I used to work at the Northwood Winn-Dixie. So I know the city very well. I'm a graduate of North Shore High School. Might have said that earlier. My parents lived in this city. My parents, since then, have passed. They're still here in the city at one of the local cemeteries. I can tell you that I have family members, friends, associates, and all the above that live in this fine city. And when I came back out of the Marine Corps with my wife, I wanted to stay in Southern California, but she said, no, I don't like Southern California, so we ended up here. An interesting fact, PBSO hired me in the morning. West Palm Beach called me in the afternoon. I'd already committed to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. But you know, God laughs when we make plans, and he works in mysterious ways. So here I am before you, and no matter what decision you make tonight, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve here in West Palm Beach. And I can tell you, we're not where we need to be yet, but we're evolving. And these folks behind me, they deserve the credit, and so do the officers that are on the street right now doing their job. Yes, we have some challenging times, but we're going to get through them. And we're going to be a police department that all of you and your community is going to be proud to call their own. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, commissioners, we are growing as a city. I think that our city has kind of graduated to a higher level of competence, integrity, talent. And in my view, it is important that we have a police department that matches the top of class city that we are. We are not there yet, but I think the gentleman you just heard speak can get us there. So I would now open it up for any questions or comments that you may have for me or for the chief. President Ward.
Thank you. I just have a comment just for the other commissioners on here, because I don't know how much interaction you've had the pleasure of having with our interim chief, but at the north end, obviously, they were very concerned with making sure that we were still meeting, still going over the needs of the community. And you, while there was a lot of fear of change, which there always is, it's been such a pleasure. And I think that a lot of the residents have felt really secure in your responses and how you interact, knowing that you're from the area. That doesn't mean, a winning combination, but it certainly helps with a lot of the community members who want you to understand the day-to-day. And we truly have felt that you do. And just from the police officers that I have heard from, the positive responses of the changes, we all want our police officers to feel proud, and when there's changes in security and drama, that doesn't bring out a prideful moment. And I think you have been helping kind of build up that pride again within our police force, and I'm really appreciative of that. You've been a pleasure to work with.
Thank you.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. I did expect a different process for selecting the chief. However, I'm very happy that we had the opportunity to have Chief Orojo. I try to get it right. to have Chief Orojo before we actually made any type of commitment, and to be able to see the chief in action. And, what I've felt thus far has been a sense of integrity. And I believe that integrity will lead to, the transparency that our community looks for. And with that integrity and transparency, that builds trust. And I see all of that forming right now. And the thing that I wanted to see happen the most was I wanted to see a culture in our police department. And in our interactions, what resonated with me from the very first time that we spoke was that you expressed that you believed in our officers, and that you believed that they were good officers, and that they would do a great job and could continue to do a great job in West Palm Beach. That culture is what is necessary for them to be able to achieve the things that our residents deserve. So although this has been a very short period, it's a honeymoon period, I feel very confident that the foundation that is being laid is one that will continue to grow, and we will see great things happen in our police department. And I'm also happy to see the camaraderie and the way that you and the deputy chief, is it deputy chief? the way that you two work together, and just the communication between you is wonderful, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner Lambert?
Thank you so much. And Mayor, I recently heard you say public safety begins with public trust. And Chief Araujo, I think that you embody that. And I know that we have a thriving world-class city here in West Palm Beach, and our public safety needs to meet that standard. And I have faith that you can do that. I know that when we've met, you've stressed training and supervision and providing that support to our team. And I can tell you, I echo your comments that that is being provided. I hear from our officers and those in the department that they feel a sense of accountability and that they are extremely appreciative of the training. As recent as last week, the high-level training that was being provided is appreciated and is being put to good use. So thank you so much for that. Additionally, I understand the challenges that we're facing that come along with a city that's growing, that's leveling up, and I just want to commend your commitment to transparency and encourage that, and I look forward to hearing continued updates to the City Commission in each of our areas so that we can continue to give you feedback of what we're hearing as well and make sure that we're providing the highest level service to our residents and our visitors as we can. Thank you so much.
Will do. Commissioner Fox?
Thank you so much. I appreciate seeing you at so many of my community meetings, and I know it has gone a long way for you to introduce yourself to neighbors. And I appreciate tonight you saying that you're here to improve the quality of life for all because, as we know, not all of our neighborhoods have the same challenges. They have unique challenges that have different needs and different police needs. And so I hope that you will continue to be able to have an open door, I think, for some of the neighbors that maybe haven't had a chance to get to know you. And I look forward to introducing you to anyone or any of my other neighborhoods that you would like to get in touch with. And I really appreciate, I appreciate the professionalism of what I've heard from the colleagues in the police department, that police officers are not entrepreneurs, they're looking for leadership, and they feel like they have found that in you. And so I am very happy to move this forward tonight, and I look forward to working with you. Thanks.
Thank you.
To your point about meeting the community, I did announce earlier in the press conference, commissioners, that over the next couple of months, the chief and I will be going around the city and having several kind of community/listening tour events. So stay tuned. There will be more information about that, but we certainly want to get out there and hear from the community. So you'll be getting more information on that. And Commissioner Warren, the police department had a culture. Unfortunately, it was not the culture that we want in our department. Chief Arroyo recognized that immediately. Now, you don't turn an ocean liner around on a dime, so it's going to take a while to change that culture. But he does not shy away from the task, recognizing the scope of the challenge, but he is not intimidated by the challenge, which I find refreshing. A, you got to recognize the problem, but B, you can't be scared or scared, as young folks say, of the problem, and that's what we have here. And I think the final point is, which many people don't, this man was he had a good life at the sheriff's department. He was doing all right. So he's not doing this, taking this on because he needs a job. He had a very good job at the sheriff's department, and he has said it publicly, so I can repeat it. He's taken a pay cut to come into this position. Now, I don't know how he convinced his wife, but he did. And I may need to take some lessons from you on that one, Chief, offline. But no, so he is committed. In his words, he's all in. This is not something he's doing to feather his own nest, and I believe he's doing it out of the commitment to our community, which is very, very gratifying. Commissioner Peduzzi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that I echo the sentiments, excuse me, expressed by my colleagues here. Everything my colleagues here and the mayor has said is absolutely true. Sir, I've had the opportunity to spend a good amount of time with you, both one-on-one, in the Criminal Justice Advisory Committee meetings, in rooms packed with 400 or 500 IBIS residents, and but especially in my one-on-one meetings with you, you immediately made me comfortable knowing that you recognize the cultural problems that we have and that you're addressing them, and that you're in a position and are committed to leading this agency in the manner that we expect it to be led. We're the city of West Palm Beach. And, you know, back when I was a reserve officer 20, 30 years ago, whatever it was at this point, everyone looked to the city of West Palm Beach as the place they wanted to be. It's probably why I know so many of our police officers today. A lot of them are starting to retire, but everyone wanted to come to the city of West Palm Beach. And I think with you at the helm, we can get it back to those glory days, those days that everyone envied and looked to the city of West Palm Beach as the leader in policing in Palm Beach County. And I look forward to supporting your nomination this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to ratify your appointment of Antonio Araujo for the position of Chief of Police.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. All right, we'll now turn to the consent calendar, items 9.1 through 9.5. Are there any questions, comments on consent? 9.1 through 9.5. Do we have any cards on consent? All right. If there are no comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the items on consent.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, item 10.1, resolution number 13-25, adopting a complete streets policy to enhance safety for our residents and visitors.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. I have a very short presentation. I thought everyone was coming for this presentation tonight, but now we have an empty chambers. It's really interesting stuff, guys.
But we're here. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Sorry, I'm Jessica Keller. I'm the Mobility and Transportation Manager. So the purpose of this policy is really to just make it official. Fortunately, this is one of the leaders of South Florida where you've been doing the work for more than a decade already. We just didn't have an official policy. I took a quick look at the city's transportation element of the comprehensive plan, and complete streets policy is mentioned 9 times. We will be aligning this with the mobility plan that we will be wrapping up. The downtown mobility plan will be wrapping up in March, and then the citywide mobility plan at the end of the calendar year. It's a citywide initiative, and it's not just for public roads, it's also to consider in our private developments as well. Connectivity is a major goal. It's not just about adding bike lanes or adding sidewalks or even additional travel lanes. It's about making sure that they're all connected. There's a context-sensitive design element. That means that each project in each neighborhood, it will match that need in that neighborhood. It's important to note that modern street design is flexible and considers safety, context, comfort, and sustainability. And this is the most important slide of them all, because this will be the big change that you'll see, and that's that we're actually documenting the process. We have not been proactive about documenting all of the wonderful things, the miles of bicycle lanes, the connected sidewalks, the trees. I want to make sure we are documenting it, but we're not documenting it collectively. So all the departments have worked together in putting together this policy, and we're being proactive so that we can deliver our success of implementing a complete streets policy every 2 years. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for that presentation. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Fox?
Thank you so much for this presentation. I just want everyone to know on our dais that we were the first municipality in Palm Beach County about 20 years ago to incorporate complete streets into our comprehensive plan. Before any other city, I think, even knew what those words meant. Jessica and I were talking about it offline, about how many years ago she was looking at West Palm and dreaming of working here because we were so progressive. And so since that time, many other municipalities have written their own complete streets policies that are standalone. They've been winning awards all over the country. And about a year ago, I think Armando, Jessica, and I were talking, and I wasn't even aware really that we didn't have a complete streets policy that was separate, but I was wondering why all these other municipalities were winning awards. And so now it's our turn. I'm just very happy to recommit to this, that we are building streets that are for all users. And I think that this is a really important step, that we just have a complete street policy that's a standalone, and so that everyone knows that this is something we're really serious about. So thank you so much for your work on this. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Any other questions, comment? Commissioner Lambert?
Thank you so much for the presentation and for your commitment to this work. I highlighted from the background information, Complete Streets is all about safety for all users.
Yes.
Is that a good summary of that?
Yes.
So thank you for that. I know our Vision Zero program historically has, taken our city to new levels of making sure that our roads and walkways and provide safety for everyone. You mentioned the mobility plan, and so can you, just because you mentioned it, talk about how does this affect that, or that affect this? I just want to make sure that we're clear.
Oh, no problem. So the mobility plan is really the big umbrella, and the Complete Streets policy is a component of that mobility plan. As I mentioned earlier, the city of West Palm Beach and the commissioner also has been doing this work. It's who we are, and that's why it was such a surprise that we didn't have a policy. We couldn't believe it, because it's just work that had been ingrained in all the decision-making processes. So the 2018 mobility plan that was adopted incorporated Complete Streets concepts, and the updated mobility plan will also incorporate those concepts.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we do have one card. Michael Cleveland. Okay, he withdraws his comment. Okay, very good.
We have another card.
I didn't submit a card, but if I can.
Well, okay, but normally we require a card first, but complete the card after you speak, please.
Will do. Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, for the record, Nick Bixler, 1970 South Dixie Highway. Some of you may know me through my involvement with Connect West Palm Beach. I just wanted to thank the city and the staff for putting the time and effort to go forward with this policy, even though it has been a part of what we've been doing for many years now. I think it's a step in the right direction in furtherance of the Vision Zero policy the city had the forethought to adopt in 2018. And I just hope to implore you all and city staff to continue to be mindful of these policies in furtherance of how we develop our roadways. We've had several pedestrians that were hit in the last 2 months. So we'd like to see the continued development and growth of safe streets for everybody and for an equality for pedestrians, bicyclists alike. So thank you again, everyone.
Thank you. And if you could fill out a card, please. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of resolution number 13-25.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll now turn to item 11.1, public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 5118-24, amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 2 to reflect the name change of the Office of Small and Minority Business Programs, and at Chapter 66 to amend the definition of small business, establish small business participation as a requirement when set, increasing the maximum small business participation to 18% for construction and master contracts, and reorganizing and clarifying several provisions. Mr. Hayden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam President, Commissioners, Ms. Johnson. My name is Frank Hayden. I'm the Director of the Office of Small, Minority, and Women-Owned Businesses. This is the second reading of this ordinance. There have not been any changes to it. I do want to share with you that we had a meeting with the organization of contractors, general contractors, because they raised some concerns as it related to our ordinance. And the main one is related to we're moving from a goal to a requirement. Actually, it's something that you all approved several years ago, but our ordinance language never caught up with it. They had a concern with that. That concern centered around the fact of availability. They talked to us about the number of projects that are going on in the city of West Palm Beach, in Palm Beach County, and the school district, and whether or not there would be availability of the subs to meet these requirements. What I shared with them is that prior to us putting a project on the streets, we go through a process to determine whether or not there's adequate numbers of certified SBEs or MBEs, WBEs, who can fulfill those obligations. We also shared with them that if we make a determination that there is not enough, we can make it 0 for participation. Or we can lower it from 18 down to 5, down to 10. We're not going to just set a goal and not know whether or not there's a potential that the prime would not be able to meet that goal. Because as I shared with them, our ultimate responsibility is to get the project done. But in doing that, we want to ensure the fact that we give opportunities to small businesses and minority and women-owned businesses as well. They also expressed a piece that is part of our what we're recommending, that we increase the dollar thresholds for small businesses. I told them that we are raising that to match what the counties has, and that in future we'll take a look at it to see if that number needs to be increased any further. I think you were sent today a summary of that meeting that we had, and so we provided that with you. And so now, Mr. Mayor, I will entertain any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments? Commissioner Baduzzi?
Thank you. I've had the opportunity to speak with several of our general contractors in West Palm Beach, and they've all expressed a concern that even though this seems like a small jump, that it's going to create a significant hardship to them because they're just in the areas where they're often recruiting. There's just not. They're telling me there's just not enough availability out there to meet this new requirement, and that it will potentially cost a significant amount of money in addition to what the project would ordinarily cost because of having to bring in contractors, some of whom live outside of the area, and significantly outside of the area. I just have a concern about that. You know, I'd feel more comfortable if it was voluntary, and if we had it at 18 or 20%, and that it was a goal, and that we, you know, strongly encourage them to meet that goal. But I'm just concerned that I'm hearing from the industry that this is going to cause them significant hardship and will increase the cost of projects significantly. And for that reason, I'm not sure that I can support this today, but I'm interested to hear from my colleagues.
Commissioner Warren?
Thank you. I support this completely. I believe that it is appropriate. I think that diversity is something that has to be done intentionally. It does not happen if you don't put the effort into it. And it is important because I believe that we're better because of diversity. And West Palm Beach is a largely minority city where we have a minority majority. And I believe that there is a workforce and that there are people that are ready, willing, and able to do this work, and that it is that they are worthy of the effort that it takes in order to ensure that these opportunities are created for the people in West Palm Beach to be able to live a certain quality of life and participate in all of the growth and development that is occurring in this city. There's a tremendous amount of new development that is taking place, and there's a workforce that is out there ready to be trained and ready to get this work done. So if we are intentional about doing this, then I believe that everyone that is a part of these amazing construction companies will be able to find the workforce that is necessary in order to achieve these goals.
Mr. Hayden, remind me of the historic numbers that we've been achieving in terms of participation of small businesses, women-owned, and minority businesses.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our number of certified SBEs is a little over 400 certified individuals. Our certified MWBEs slash WBEs is about 300, over 300 and some firms that are certified in that capacity. In terms of, on a quarterly basis, we provide you all with a list of dollars spent and how many of those dollars have gone on to certified SBEs and MBEs. The goal has been 18%, and it has been for some time. We exceed that number every quarter. We're in the 20% bracket. The county's goal is 20%. Ours is 18. We have always met that particular goal and that we have put out there for people to participate. And Mr. Mayor, if I just could, one of the other things that we have done is if we put something on the street and we don't get the kind of response we like, we have the ability to waive that requirement on a contract. But I think for the most part, contractors have been stepping up. They've been meeting our goal on a regular basis, and we will continue to do the best we can to serve the citizens of West Palm Beach.
So let me make sure I understand this. So we have a goal, which we've treated as a requirement, I believe, of 18%.
Yes.
In the actuality, we've been realizing 20%. So for someone to now say we can't meet a requirement of 18% when we've been achieving 20%, there's a disconnect there. Okay, and so I think it's a red herring, and I refuse to accept that when the reality is we have been achieving 20% participation by women, minority, and small businesses. So to say that somehow if we change the goal to a requirement, it really was a goal that we treated as a requirement, magically we can't get that. I don't accept that. I don't accept that. Any other, President Ward.
Thank you. I also heard the concerns as well, Commissioner Peduzzi, and it's the Association of General Contractors, Mr. Hayden, that you met with. Can you just explain to me, when you guys are looking at this and looking at changes like this and setting something from a goal to a requirement, because I do understand that. I mean, you know, when I was looking at this originally before you brought it the first time, I was like, well, I thought we already had this. I thought we were already achieving it. Do you go and discuss these types of changes with groups that it may impact prior to bringing it before us? Because it seemed like they were really surprised by it, and that's what surprised me.
The short answer to your question is no. I do have conversations with individuals, contractors, as it relates to what it is that we're doing. I have not had a conversation with the Association of General Contractors in terms of what it is that we are proposing to do. But I will say this, that initially this commission approved the change of the 18% and the requirement in 2020. The language in the ordinance was never updated to meet what it was that you all had already approved. And since that time, people have been meeting it. And the other issue is that before we put something on the street, we check the availability of individuals. And as I said, everything we put on the street is not 18%. It might be 5, it might be 0, it might be 10. We base it on doing a study of what availability is, not only with those firms certified with the city, but those firms who are certified with the county as well, to ensure the fact that we're going to have those opportunities. But once again, if a prime contractor can make a case that what we are proposing is not realistic, we are more than willing and open to waive that requirement on that particular solicitation. But we haven't had that problem. We're still getting a number of people showing up wanting to take our money or get our money from the city. And so we're willing to work with anybody to get to where we need to be.
And I think in terms of communication with the industry, you may recall that when this came up for first reading, we made it very clear that before we got to second reading, there needed to be that meeting. And I believe there was at least one session, maybe more than one, that was held where the industry had a chance to express their views, and that was summarized, I think, in a memo that we all received recently. So we try to make sure that there is an opportunity for industry to weigh in on these issues. Commissioner Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Hayden. I think you touched on a few of these with answers to my colleague's question, but I really want to be direct about this, because you've described a process if there's not available subs to meet this requirement or previously to meet the goal. Can you walk us through that process of what that looks like? And you've referenced this, but I again want to be direct in asking the question, have we ever had this situation come up? And if so, can you tell us about that time or times?
And so I'm clear, had what situation come up?
Where there was not the available subs to meet the 18% goal.
What I'd like to do is, Sandy? Sandy is the one which does the comparisons before it goes on the street. And so I'd rather have the expert speak as opposed to me.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Lambert. What I do is
Just state your name for the record, please.
I'm sorry. My name is Sandy Hammerstein, and I am part of the Office of Small Minority Business Programs. I take the scope of work. I discuss it with the project manager. I sometimes look at the engineer's estimate, if there's one, or I look at the construction piece or whatever it happens to be, whatever the solicitation is calling for. And I translated into commodity codes, which are industry codes that we use. They're NIGP codes. Then I look at each one of those NIGP codes through the county's system, and I look to see what available firms are, for instance, in plumbing, how many plumbers there are as a total, and then how many of those plumbers are minority or women or small businesses, depending on what goal we're gonna put on the contract. Once that is put together, it gives me a total, and I use that to offset the 18% goal that we have blanket for that solicitation. So if the percentage is 2%, then I know there's not that many people available to meet the requirement. So then I talk again with the project manager. I give him my results or give her my results, and we talk about what other areas there might be possibility to use in this project. And based on our collaborative work, we come up with the goal for the project.
And Mayor, if I could just
Yes.
ask some clarifying questions. So the project manager you're working with and talking about is the project manager from the construction company?
No,
Our project manager?
our project manager internally.
Okay, and so the 18% could be met in other areas. So if in your example, in plumbing, it might not be met, but we might be able to meet or exceed it in other parts of the project.
Right. So a lot of projects that are competed are larger dollar amounts, like building a building. So if you could build a building and it's $100,000 and the plumbing is only 10%, but I know that there's carpentry and painting and 100 other things that could be done, then I'm confident that 18% is gonna be no sweat for the contractor.
Okay, and then the other statement that you made, Mr. Hayden, about we've always exceeded the 18%, is that on each project we've always exceeded, or cumulative, all the projects together, we've always exceeded?
Cumulatively.
So there are some projects where we've, on the individual project, not met the 18%?
No, I'm sorry. If the goal on the contract is 18%, then when they bid on the project, they'll list out their subs in order to make that number. When they submit their invoices for payment, we get a copy of the invoices and we track the dollars that are being spent and keep them abreast of the fact that you're either going to fall short of your goal or you're exceeding your goal and you're doing a good thing. For those that are going to fall short of the goal, we'll meet with the contractor and they might come back to us and say, well, we were planning for this part of the work, but the city determined that that was not going to be a part of the work anymore. We're not going to hold them accountable for that because the city caused them not to be able to reach their potential. So we keep them abreast of where we are and where they are with their numbers, and we meet with them if there's an issue that requires us to make some adjustments in terms of where they are.
Well, thank you. I think it's very important for us to have these types of programs in our city, and I'm grateful that you and your staff take the time to meet with the contractors. I guess I just want to make sure that we're, providing procedures, that we don't have any gotchas or, just opportunities where we're not succeeding.
And you're right. I said earlier, our ultimate goal is to get the project done. And we don't want to do anything that's going to hinder the contractor from being able to make that accomplishment. I said at the meeting that we had, I come down harder on small and minority and women-owned businesses than I do primes. Because if they mess up, that messes it up for anybody coming behind them. And so we cannot tolerate that. We cannot have that. And besides, it gives ammunition to the primes to say, that's why we can't reach your goal, because you don't have qualified subcontractors out to do the work. So we want to work to make them successful, but at the same time, we want to do our best to try and get opportunities for small and minority-owned firms as well.
And I would challenge commissioners, if you are getting this kind of information, I would challenge you to have that complaining contractor come to you with a specific example. Don't just take their word for it, but say, well, what particular contract project have you worked on where you were unable to find whatever the percentage is? We have data to back up what we're trying to do here, and I challenge you to get actual data from any contractor that is complaining about their inability to reach these goals. When does that happen in your experience, Mr. or Ms. Contractor? Commissioner Baduzzi and then President Ward.
Thank you. You had mentioned that your office has some flexibility with regard to, taking different scenarios into account when applying this requirement for 18% or the 15%. Can you remember a time in the last year where we waived the requirement of 15% or 18%?
Not only in the last year, we've done it this year. I can't tell you the particular project right off the top of my head, but I'm more than willing to provide that information to you as commissioners, because it does happen that we've determined there's not enough availability out there for this particular project, and we've done that. We've even gone so far, we put something on the street, asked for X, didn't get the kind of bids we wanted back. We put it back on the street, and it's at 0 then. So we make those decisions and conceptions all the time because, like I said, the important part is to get the job done.
Follow-up, Mayor?
Yes.
So what they're telling me, it may be accurate that sometimes they are not able to find the qualified personnel for the specific requirement of 15 or 18% if you've had to waive that in the past, correct?
And it is possible. But I will say this, if we put out 100 contracts in the year, we might have 2 that meet the requirement, that we had to change the requirement on the contract.
And one final follow-up, Mayor?
Yes.
The other thing that concerned me that one of the builders mentioned to me was that that sometimes with the general contractor, the primary contractor, is saddled with, and I say saddled, I mean, they're not in a bad position either way probably, but that they're required to like provide a bond for the project and provide the overall insurance for the project, yet 18% of that project contract is, assigned elsewhere, and they don't participate in that overhead coverage. At least that's what they're telling me, which, they said, is this kind of a fairness issue in their minds that they're covering all of the overhead when it comes to the bond or the insurance, and there's not participation by the minority contractor.
And I will only echo what the mayor said. I'd appreciate if a situation like that develops, come to us, share with us, talk to us. But I will tell you this, when the majority of the contracts, the prime requires the sub to also provide their insurance that they need for that particular project, just like we're requiring of them as well. So, but I would, once again, our door is always open. I don't think you'll find any contractor who ever tell you that I never talked to them, I was disrespectful to them, because that doesn't happen. So we're open for any suggestions that might help us do a better job and them to meet the requirements that we're asking for.
President Ward.
Thank you. Now that this is a requirement versus a recommendation, you keep talking about, well, we'll work on it and waive it, but I know we've got more procedures than that. So what exactly is going to be the procedure now that it is a requirement for someone to say, can't make it, it needs to be waived? Is it going to come to us? Is it something department? Just walk me through that.
That would rest with me in terms of that. And when I say it has been a requirement from this commission since 2020. And so we're just correcting the language in the ordinance to catch up with what it is we've already been doing. Excuse me.
You have a follow-up?
I guess if this is an ordinance, and maybe I just need to brush up on procedures, a department head can waive a requirement in an ordinance by a meeting?
The
I'll turn to
ordinance,
my
yeah.
legals.
The ordinance that's before you, and a portion of it that's already in the code, has waiver procedures that were already adopted by the commission in a previous iteration. So what Mr. Hayden is telling you is that under those provisions that are currently codified, he has the ability to waive the requirements as it's written today.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you so much, and thank you for the discussion. I, in no way want to hinder any construction business moving forward. Obviously, this is a pivotal time, a lot of things going on. But just to make sure I understand, it's not, the 18% can be small business participation in any way, any part of the construction. So for example, if they wanted to add 18% of community outreach for their project, they could hire a small or minority firm to do that outreach.
They could. But I will say to you that it would be a tremendous amount of community outreach.
It would, but it would be okay with me.
Yeah, but it would be. And normally what prime contractors do, they break that 18% up, give 5% to this subcontractor, 7% to that subcontractor. Their bottom line is they just want to get to the 18. And so they divide it up among 3, 4, 5 different subcontractors to help them reach the 18%.
And generally, the larger contracts have several disciplines that they could allocate that among. Commissioner Lambert.
I appreciate that we're different from the county, but you've mentioned that the county has a 20% goal, is that right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
why is ours different?
That's a good question. I wanted to take it to 20%, but my staff told me that let's stay at 18 for now to get to it. And we're not as big as what the county is. The projects we do don't have the same dollar value that the county does as well. And so I guess my answer to you would be, I'm comfortable where we are. We can work with that number. We've exceeded that number. But that's kind of in our ballpark that we're comfortable with in terms of that number.
Okay.
Commissioner Peduzzi.
Is the county's 20% a goal, or is it codified?
I cannot answer that, Commissioner. Let me see. Sandy, we don't know. We can get you that information.
I heard the word goal used a couple of times.
Yes.
Okay. How about other municipalities around us? Are we way out of the field? Are we within the range? Or what do some of the other cities have?
I think we're in the ballpark in terms of other municipalities, in terms of what we're asking and requiring of contractors, of projects that exist in not only Palm Beach County, Broward County. For example, Solid Waste Authority, theirs is 20% for their projects as well. And so I think we're in the ballpark of municipalities and other entities in and around Palm Beach County. And I know Broward County for sure. And I think Miami-Dade's even more aggressive than what we are in terms of opportunities for small or minority businesses.
Brief follow-up?
Yes.
But we don't know any numbers. We don't know where we stand with the other municipalities in the area.
No, sir, I do not.
Thank you.
Once again, we can gather that information for you, though.
Well, keep in mind, we already have in the ordinance, well, it's not in the ordinance, but in practice, we have the requirement of 18%.
Yes, sir.
That's what we've been operating under since 2020,
Yes,
you
sir.
said? So we're just trying to get the language to catch up with our actual practice.
Right.
And I don't think, and Mr. Hayden, you tell me, have we ever been able to and you may have answered this, have we been unable to award a contract because of our practice of 18% requirement?
We have had to rebid
Okay,
a project. And that was because people came in under the requirement that was part of the contract. And when we rebid, people met the threshold that we had set forth.
Okay, but we're flexible.
Yes.
Even though we've been making it a requirement, that requirement is not etched in stone, depending upon the circumstances of the project, correct?
Yes, sir. You're correct, Mr. Mayor. Correct.
Any other questions? Commissioner Lambert.
Thank you. I know that we've been talking a lot about the Association of General Contractors and prime concerns, but when making decisions and my decision-making process, I like to consider all sides and all aspects of input and stakeholders. Can you share with us, because we haven't talked about this, any success stories of the subs who have participated, and what has this meant for those individuals?
I'm sorry, I'm dry. I mentioned to you the last time on the first reading, there is a contractor by the name of Wind and Son who started off as an SBE. They have outgrown our program. They're still doing work for us, and they're using subs to help reach the goal that we have set on contracts. So that is one success story, but there are others who have exceeded it. And when I spoke to Win and Son that we were raising the threshold for you to be certified as an SBE, they said that that's still not high enough for them. So they've done exceptionally well with us to the point where they no longer. And to be true, as I talk to subcontractors, I want them to outgrow our program. I want them to get to the point where they can stand on their own. We don't only just prepare them to be able to be a sub on a contract. We do programs here to get people to the point where they have bondability. We also teach people how to read and respond to RFPs here. So we want to create and help them be to the point where they don't need a hand anymore. They're going to be able to stand on their own and help others as well.
Commissioner, to your point, a recent example was when we were considering the whole controversy over the Curry Park contract. That contractor, West Construction, I believe, was formerly a small business under our program, and now they have graduated out of it as well.
Yes.
So that's another.
You're correct. That's another example. Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we do have a couple of cards. Michael Cleveland, I think I saw him walk out though, and Michelle DePotter. Michael Cleveland, are you still here? Okay, Mr. Potter.
Thank you, Mayor. Michelle DePotter, CEO of the AGC, Associated General Contractors at 515 North Flagler, Suite 910, for the record, West Palm Beach. Prior this evening, there was a lot of history in this room with the heritage folks that you recognized, and they were certainly all deserving of that, and our friends at Gunster. And the AGC, too, has history. We were chartered here in West Palm Beach in 1949. In fact, we just completed 75 years here. So we're very well known, and we were chartered to be the local voice of construction through AGC of America, and also to promote the skill, integrity, and responsibility of our industry. I bring that up because we have been around for 75 years, and Mr. Hayden and I know each other, and Sandra. I actually sit on the Solid Waste Authority Small Business Advisory Committee, so I see you guys throughout the community, happily so, and we do appreciate all the good work that you do here at the city. I learned about this right the day before the second reading, and Mayor, I want to thank you for your
First reading.
No, the second reading. I didn't know about this till the day before the second reading, and I reached out, and I really appreciate your grace in that, allowing us some time to meet with your staff. Because that collaboration should have already been occurring, quite frankly. I mean, it's no secret, we've been around here a long time. And post that meeting in December, you know, there was an article in the Palm Beach Post, and Mr. Hayden, you contributed to that article, I believe, in there, and it does state fact that, you know, you're exceeding the goals of 15% and all of that. But I felt like that article, not that we're here to debate it, really sensationalized and had the propensity to politicize what we're talking about tonight. I don't want to see any of that happen anymore. I just want to collaborate with you all from the beginning, not be brought in at the last minute. We're never going to agree on everything, right? Isn't that the beauty of it all, that we have a voice? My members belong to the AGC for a reason, for 75 years, many of them for a really long time. So I believe that the horse has already left the station here. You've stated that, you know, you've already been operating this way and you're cleaning up things with what the county does. So let me offer some positive things. It was the AGC that brought back to the county the need for the increase in volume on construction from 9 million to 13 million. That was dead on arrival in 2023, and the AGC resurrected that. Happily so, because 13 million, even 9 million is not a lot in the realm of construction, right? So that moved forward. But if you want to be like the county in some of those areas, the other things that we fought for is that the SMWBEs do not get kicked off of a job mid-project because they might have exceeded that volume of criteria. So we would like to have you maybe consider that. And also, either it was Tanya Johnson-Davis or Virginia over there that has the ability in the future to increase it further. I'm sorry.
All right, so it sounds like you have a number of other comments. Can you and Mr. Hayden get together if you want to do a letter that's distributed to the commissioners with these concerns?
Our concern was capacity. You've got the Vanderbilt coming, you've got a lot of work here. You guys have already been operating this way, 20%.
Your 3 minutes is up, so if you want to somehow write a letter or meet with the commissioners and Mr. Hayden to articulate your concerns, I don't want to feel like you're cut off.
That's nowhere to find me. I'm happy to work together with you all the time.
If I could, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
And the issue of if a SBE is certified with us and they're on a project, they continue on that project, and we continue to count those dollars as SBEs until such time as that project is over. We don't kick them off.
That was happening in the county. I was just saying you didn't do that.
I don't want you all to debate this now. We have a decision to make. You can debate it offline, okay?
Yes, sir.
And thank you for your time,
Mr.
everybody.
Potter, if you want to have more further input with the commissioners, you're free to do that. Okay. Those are all the cards we have. Do we have any other questions? Commissioner Lambert.
I'd just like to echo the comments that Ms. DePotter made, and just that we solicit stakeholder input, you know, when we're working on things like this, just to make sure that we've heard all aspects. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
President Ward.
Did we have a work session on this matter? On the 18%?
Yes.
Originally? Okay.
Back in 2020, at least, when we made it required.
Okay, so I was not part.
Yes,
okay.
we did. Yes, ma'am.
I just follow up. My comment is I just feel like I get I'm not in support of this. I just am concerned about the fact that it just came up and a huge stakeholder wasn't even informed. We didn't have a work session on it. Commissioner Peduzzi was asking you, definitive questions of what other municipalities are doing, what's the county, whether it's a requirement or not, and you're not really answering any of those questions. And so I don't want to support this right now just because I feel like we're not prepared yet, or at least maybe you aren't prepared yet for the questions that are being asked of you. And so I'm not going to move this forward.
Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to clarify, did you, after the proposed second reading, was there a sit-down with the?
Yes.
And, I mean, was there anything any compromises that came out of that meeting? I do fully support this, and I feel like it's very hard for small businesses in our city to do business with the city, and we have to give people some advantages of, making it easier for them to support their families, and I do support this, but I agree I'm having just hearing about the the fact that one of our major stakeholders wasn't really consulted, and I'm hearing a lot of her concerns for the first time tonight also, which I think are valid. And so I would prefer if we could pause this tonight and come back to the table, maybe have more discussions on if there's a compromise that we could work with Mr. Potter and at least hear more of her concerns directly, because and maybe get a sense of what other cities are doing and a little bit more about the county, because I do support this and I want to move it forward, but I want to be fair and make sure that all voices have been heard as well.
Well, let's make it clear. This was originally scheduled for second hearing back in, I believe, December, right?
Yes, sir. I think, no, January.
Early January. So we pushed it back.
Yes.
There was a meeting, at least one meeting, over at Mandel Library where Mr. Potter, several of her members were there. There were several discussions. I believe the commissioners were sent, and at least I received, I believe it went to all the commissioners, an email summarizing what some of those concerns were. Now, I don't know what else you're looking for. I mean, what would an additional delay get us? You want more meetings with the AGC and Mr. Hayden? Do you want the AGC to come and talk to you and articulate their concerns directly with you before we go to a vote? Happy to do that. Just tell me what it is that you're looking for, what other input you're looking for. Now, there are some questions about what other cities are doing. To me, that's irrelevant. All right, we are West Palm Beach, and I don't think we should be bound by what other cities are doing. Generally, they may not be doing as much as we are, but in my view, that should not be the cause for why we should do less. But if you want that data, we could certainly get it to you so that the commissioners feel that you, Mr. Hayden, are more prepared. Of course, you can be prepared for a question that comes to you. But anyway, so we'll make sure we get that information to commit. What else do you want, commissioners, before we move on to make a decision? Commissioner Baduzzi.
Thank you, Mayor. And I have just, you heard some of my hesitancy to support this today, and I agree with Commissioner Ward that, you know, I would have liked to have known just that, you know, if I knew the other numbers for municipalities around us. I know that we're not bound by that. We're the city of West Palm Beach. I understand that. We're the leader in a lot of areas. But for me to feel comfortable with this, especially since there was some lack of communication with some of the stakeholders at some point during this process, and that some of them feel like they didn't have the adequate opportunity to be heard. You know, I just would feel more comfortable moving forward myself with knowing, you know, what some other municipalities are doing. And knowing, I don't even know whether the county's ordinance at 20% is a goal or it's, you know, mandatory. Do they have a minimum that's mandatory? I don't have any of these answers, and so for that reason, I can't support this tonight. But I do support the plight of our small and minority businesses, because I'm a small business owner myself. My wife's a woman business owner herself, but I just need a little more information.
All right. What if we do this? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Warren. I won't cut you off.
Thank you. You know, when I think of West Palm Beach and the fact that we lead the county in so many areas, we have led the county as it is related to workforce and affordable housing. We have been innovative in every way, and we haven't stopped to apologize to anyone for that. And that's how we have the numbers that we do. So to believe that we cannot have this type of goal because Lake Worth doesn't have it is not something that I understand. I believe that as the premier city in the county, that we are the ones that typically set the trends that others fall in line with, because usually it's the right trend that we're setting. And I think that that's been evidenced. So I don't want to pause to see what someone else is doing. I think that the professionalism and the experience of Mr. Hayden and Ms. Hammerstein and the things that they have done in this space that has been in the city of West Palm Beach and outside of the city of West Palm Beach, I trust staff that they have done the research and that they are comfortable with the results that they've seen, that this is the appropriate number that is fair. I don't believe that is a number that is arbitrary, that they've pulled out of the air. According to what Ms. Hammerstein said when she stood before us, these are numbers based off of what we are already producing. So to say that we can't move forward because we want to see what other people are doing is not something that I'm really able to get my mind around why we would need that type of delay.
And again, we paused it once so there could be, and then I made it very clear, I wanted there to be more input from the AGC and any other stakeholders. And we've had that meeting. I mean, I don't know if there's another meeting that's requested, but was there a hiccup initially when we went to second reading? Perhaps there was, and so we pushed the pause button then to correct that mistake, whether it was intentional or unintentional. So we put the pause button on. There was ample time, and there was at least one meeting, but ample time for the AGC to have their input, not only with Mr. Hayden, but perhaps during that same time they could have come and had individual meetings with commissioners. I don't know. So we have paused it. So it's not as if we're rushing through this and they didn't have a chance. We have given them an opportunity. I'm not sure what advantage it would be to pause it again, to give them another opportunity. I don't know, but I'm open to suggestions. One thing that has been said is you want more information from other municipalities. So you want to pause it for that reason. Are there other issues that you want to have covered if we did pause it again? President Ward.
I just want to make a clarification because I feel like, Commissioner Puzzi, I know you can speak for yourselves, but I feel like it's being taken out of context by saying, what are other cities doing? Of course, we do what we're going to do, and we have been leaders of affordable workforce housing. We've been leaders in homeless outreach and things like that. But you still you're dealing with something where you're looking at a market. And so if we're looking at something that could impact the market, you kind of want to see what other markets next to you are doing and what they're able to accomplish, because we don't always have to recreate the wheel when somebody else has maybe already done it and maybe had pointers. There could be another office similar to yours that said, yeah, we did this, but FYI, actually, you could go to 20%. And I have to say, the fact that when Commissioner Peduzzi asked about the county program and you still don't know whether it's a requirement or not, that means to me, Mr. Hayden, that you did not come prepared. And you can smile at that, you can smirk,
Okay,
but
I'm not going to let you abuse staff, okay?
I'm not
It was not a
abusing staff.
question
I'm
of
not
whether
abusing
what the
staff.
county was doing. That wasn't the issue. If you were concerned about it, you could have sent him an email before this meeting.
I thought he'd
okay?
come
So you
prepared.
asked him, so don't say he wasn't prepared. He was prepared to deal with the issue that's before us. This is a second reading. You could have asked that between first reading and now.
Okay.
So don't throw him under the bus, say he wasn't prepared for we're not looking at what the county's doing. That's not what's here. So I object on behalf of Mr. Hayden that you suggest he's not prepared
Fine,
because he
object on
didn't
it.
answer a question that wasn't even on the issue.
Great, but he's the one who brought up the county to begin with, though. You realize that, right? He brought up the county.
But because he couldn't say whether the county was not a requirement versus a goal, okay, is not like, that's not the issue of what the county is doing. Now, if you want the information, he said he would get it to you. Okay,
and then the other comment is that you did send this summary. There was a whole comments were made regarding the following topics. Most of those had a question mark at the end of them, yet that it didn't seem like staff had responded to any of these concerns. So were they just found to not be worth responding to? Did you find that they weren't legitimate?
I'm sorry.
I'm done. My questions are finished. Don't worry about it.
I can't respond to your comment because I don't have that document in front of me. But I can ask staff. Some commissioners saying some had question marks next to them.
I simply listed the concerns and the questions that were asked during that meeting, and Mr. Hayden explained to the folks in the meeting that we would review them and address them at a later date, because this is just a cleanup of an ordinance. We're not creating anything different. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary. We're going to have a disparity study in our MBE process that will look at the marketplace as a whole and tell us the answers for a lot of the questions that you're talking about right now.
So some of those answers will come out of the out of the disparity study.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the good of this body? Are there any other questions, comments? Is there a motion?
Yes.
If I could, before that, Mayor, I just have a
Yes.
question. You were about to suggest an alternative route. I was just, before a motion is made, might we be able to hear what that was you were going to suggest?
Well, I was going to say, if there are questions that you still feel like you need answers to, perhaps we push the pause button for another couple of weeks, and you submit those questions in writing to Mr. Hayden, or if there are issues that you need covered. All right, but if there is a motion, then that's fine. That's an alternative.
Mayor, I move approval of ordinance number 5118-24 on second reading.
All right, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it because I'd like to have a little bit more discussion.
Okay, seconded for the purpose of discussion. So let's open up for discussion.
Commissioner Fox and then.
Commissioner Fox?
Thank you, Mayor. My concern is less about what other cities are doing and more that I would like to have more time to talk to the AGC and understand this is not my line of work. And so I can only rely on what I would be told about the difficulty and the challenges that they're finding right now. I in no way want to hold up the process of moving forward on projects that we voted on. I don't want to make it difficult. I don't want to be sending out bids, like you said, that maybe have to be rebid because we couldn't find enough contractors that could meet what we're asking. So my concern is not as much about other cities as much as it is the due diligence of things that maybe I'm hearing tonight and wanting to hear from more from the stakeholders that this would be impacting before we vote on it.
All right, Commissioner Lambert?
Mayor, I hear my colleagues' concerns about wanting to hear from the AGC. The CEO is here. Would it be okay to allow her to speak beyond her 3 minutes? It sounded like she had more to share, but was cut off by the time.
That's fine. We'll make this rare exception.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I was just going to continue to elaborate on what the county was doing and what you were trying to mirror. There's a goal-setting committee over there. It's a public transparency process when goals are being set on jobs. I gave Sandra, I gave you a copy of the questions that we had. At the end of the day, maybe there's some counter offer. Maybe it is 20%. Maybe it is what the county does. We met, we had one meeting, we asked for a meeting. Some other contractors that you included came to that. Randolph Construction, it was great to meet them. One of our members, All Site Construction, was there, and I believe an architect. So again, it's just capacity, it's the workforce challenges. You're reading that everywhere. Also, I was going to finish up in my comments to say there's a lot of work here in the county and the city. And if you hear AGC of America and our recent press releases and things like that, we don't have the workforce out there. It's a concern. And you're already operating this way, so I'm a little confused. I mean, if you've been operating this way, then why didn't the ordinance reflect that in 2020 when the decision was made? Maybe I just don't understand that. And I apologize for not knowing about this prior. I have a lot of municipalities in the county and everybody to follow, and I'm busy too. But I was just gonna, thank you for, we might not win tonight on this. What is winning? For us, it's having qualified, willing, and able, and the right people on the projects to do the job. So we
Is the
expressed.
position of your organization, is that a 18% requirement is too onerous and too burdensome?
It could be, depending. I
I'm
mean,
asking
why
you
is it a mandate? Why
I'm
can't it
asking
be
you
a goal? If
directly.
he has
Is
the
that the
ability.
position you're taking?
My
Are you
position is the
opposed to
AGC
18
doesn't,
Are you opposed to the 18% requirement?
why don't you make it 20 and a goal?
No, no, no. We're not
Please.
negotiating. I'm asking you a specific, are you taking the position, are you opposed
The
to an
position-
18% requirement?
Mandate, we are in opposition to a mandate.
A goal? I mean, a
Mandate.
requirement?
But you're already
So you're
doing it, so
objecting
it
to
doesn't
it.
matter. Well, you're already doing it. That's what Mr. Hayden told us. You're already doing that on these projects for the last 4 years. You're just playing catch-up. We understand that now.
We're playing catch-up. We're just changing the language. If we've already been doing it.
Right. So what are we arguing about? You've already been doing it.
Because I just want to see what your position is as stakeholders. So
Position
you're
is,
objecting to
we
it.
are, we believe we have lots of issues and challenges here locally with the amount of work that's here, both public, both private. There's more work every day being let out, as you know. People choose between private and public, where, what work they want to do, and we believe there's a capacity issue. And we believe you set some of these contractors up, the small businesses, to fail at times. So,
Now, when you say that, do you have specific data to support
I do
that?
from my
That's a pretty
members,
bold
but they're not
statement.
here. So you said you wanted to hear from them. Maybe I can get them to, speak to the commissioners or to you.
So,
I mean, there
hey,
are instances. There's lots of instances. I understand. We want everybody to succeed, just like you all do. It doesn't matter whether they're small businesses. It doesn't matter gender. None of those things. Okay, we do. But
That's a
you're
pretty strong
handcuffing them.
statement to say that we, the city, are setting up small businesses for failure? Do you have specific examples of that?
If they can't meet the goals, if they don't have the capacity, and they've taken on this work, and the
Do you have
workforce changes.
specific examples where
The
small
members
businesses
do.
have not been able to do business in our city because of lack of capacity or because we have a
Mayor,
goal?
we had a 45-minute meeting that other people were invited to. That was great, okay? The questions weren't answered, to the commissioner's point. We were looking to some answers. What is the volume of work in the city? I understand you're not the county. You don't have as much work as the county, therefore you're not going to operate that
So
way.
you're suggesting there were questions you asked in that meeting that did not get answered?
They still have question marks by them.
All right, so Sandy's staff, are any of those questions able to be answered without getting the disparity study? Are you suggesting that all that information they asked for is required by the disparity study? Or can we give them answers based upon the old disparity study?
Well, the disparity study was old data
I'm asking
from
my staff right
2009
now,
to
Michelle,
13.
please, don't interrupt me.
There are some questions here that are just setting committee. Oh, does the county have a goal-setting committee?
Does
And-
the county have a
No,
goal?
no, the
Or the
city.
city, and then we told her no. And is the process open to the public? And we told her no.
Okay, so those questions are answered. What other questions do you have that weren't answered?
They did the draft. They came up with all of the
What
points
is
from the
the
meeting.
city
That's-
volume of work for fiscal year 2025? We asked her to take a look at our, what is that plan? There's a CIP, capital improvement plan, yes.
Okay, can we just look at that and give her the answer to that, please? Not right now, but subsequently.
They wanted to know if we could raise the size standards even higher than the size standards of a small business, what we're proposing to do. And we let her know that that is determined through a policy, and we mirror the county because we have a interlocal agreement with them. And so that's why we wanted that level of size
Okay,
standard.
so the answer to that is no. Okay,
And I think that was it.
all right. So so do you have a list of questions that your group that weren't answered? This is their summary. Maybe their summary's incorrect. So do you have
I don't know.
well, do you have?
They took the meeting notes.
Okay.
I didn't take them.
Okay.
The contractors asked these questions. The contractors explained what their issues were.
Okay,
We were told that they're already operating this way, and you're just cleaning up your ordinance after 4 years. So you've already been operating this way. There's not much we could say. I mainly came up here to thank you for giving us some time. We wish we had been at the table earlier. I think it's a lesson in collaboration that we can all improve on, to communicate. And it doesn't, maybe it's not just the AGC, it's other organizations. The fact of the matter is that that process never occurred. You know, I think you're where you are in your decision, what you want to do with your city, and I commend you on wanting to provide opportunity for everyone. But the reality is, in the construction community, we've got many, many challenges. There's capacity challenges, there's workforce challenges. You know, we're all working together to try and improve things. So it would be nice if we could do that right out the gate. I don't know what other questions the contractors have specifically. I'm happy to go back. They shared what the concerns were. You drafted the minutes from that respectfully, how you saw the meeting. Maybe it was AI, I'm not really sure, but I didn't draft those questions, but they were asked. So.
Okay, Commissioner Peduzzi.
Just reading this ordinance again, and it says increasing the maximum small business participation to 18% for construction and master contracts. That would be minimum of 18%, right? Not maximum.
Yes, sir.
So I think this ordinance is not even really written correctly.
When we say maximum, that's the top ceiling would be only 18%. If it's a minimum, it could be anything above that. So that's why we put it at a maximum of 18% participation on the contract.
Max to require.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were told, you know, that you work with contractors. I mean, I haven't been before you guys in many years. That's a good thing. You guys do a lot of wonderful things over here. And it's really your word that you're going to work with these contractors, right? And you waive things when you need to. So we just don't understand why there'd be a mandate if you can just then go and waive things, and what that process is. Is it transparent? You know, those were just some of the questions that were posed.
Yes.
We appreciated the opportunity to put those out there. Thank you. I don't want to overstay my time up here.
Commissioner.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of questions as she's talking. I'm a little confused, I guess, as to what we're doing right now. If we're already meeting this 18%, is it that it's just a goal right now at 18% and the 15 is mandatory and 18 is the goal? What are we doing exactly right now from 2020 till today?
The goal is 18% that we have made, you, the commissioners, have made a requirement. The language in the ordinance never got updated to make that happen, primarily because during 2019, we did the disparity study and we started putting together the ordinance for the M/WBE program. And I think the updating of the language on SBE kind of fell through the cracks.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Potter before she returns to her seat? Commissioner Lambert?
My question is for Mr. Hayden.
Thank you for the additional time.
Any other questions for Mr. Potter before Commissioner Fox?
Thank you so much. I wondered if there was a compromise that you had in mind, or if you were just saying suggesting a goal of 20% and not to have something that was a mandatory. Is that what your compromise was, or was there?
I just put that out there, yeah,
Okay.
but I wasn't looking to
it's
have
not
to
something that-
negotiate. I mean, 20% instead of 18%, you know, I read in the Palm Beach Post article that you guys are exceeding, and you conveyed that to us. 15%, you're meeting that. Things seem to be going well, so why mandate it? I guess we don't understand that. That really handcuffs people, you know.
Not sure it handcuffs us. It gives us what we
Well,
want as a city.
I'm out of
We
words
want
tonight, you
what
guys. I'm
we
sorry.
want the requirement. Okay. Is there a follow-up, Commissioner?
Yeah. Sorry. Which commissioner?
Well, Commissioner Fox, she was asking the question. Okay, Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. And I think that we're just kind of going around and around. To Mr. Hayden's original point, this is already something that we have voted on 5 years ago. It is already something that is being achieved. This is now at the point where we're saying that we need to clean up the language and have them match. So I don't understand what's complicated about what we're doing today if these are the things that have already been established. And to Michelle's point, that the contractors are already hitting these goals. So the point was, why mandate it if it's already happening? Well, why not mandate it if it's already happening?
Commissioner Lambert?
My question, Mr. Hayden, is,
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify, because there was some ambiguity with some of your answers, and I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page.
Okay.
Okay. Our current mandate is 15%.
18%.
Our mandate.
Yes.
But
That's
it's
the
not
goal.
based on a vote that we made, but it was, the ordinance did not match that vote.
You're right, we never updated the language in the ordinance to match what decision you as commissioners had made.
And so we've been operating under that for the last 4 years.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And I heard Mr. Potter say their issue with this is the difference between a goal and a mandate.
Yes.
But you're saying we have been operating under a mandate, but just calling it a goal in our ordinance, but for all intents and purposes, staff has been operating as a mandate.
Yes, ma'am. And, I'm sorry.
And she made a comment, and I want to hear your response to this. The comment was, why not make it a 20% goal and not a mandate? What is your response to that?
I've always been one, I'm going to say exactly what I think and what I feel. Contractors will do what it is you allow them to do. If you say it's a goal, they will do 10%, they'll do 12%, because it's only a goal. But if you say it's a mandate, they will raise to that level. They've been doing it for the last 4 years. We have language in our solicitation that says, if you do not, on your bid, come in at what, the 18%, then you're non-responsible and we throw your bid out. That's the language that contractors have been operating under for the last 4 years.
So they've been operating as a mandate
Yes,
in
ma'am.
our city.
Yes, ma'am.
And so regardless of what a study might tell us about other municipalities, we've been operating this way.
Yes, ma'am. And I would say as well, I've not had a contractor come to me and complain as it relates to what it is that we're doing. And so I would think if it had been an issue for 4 years, someone would have stepped up to the table and said that what you're doing is not fair.
Well,
I haven't heard it.
I appreciate that, and because of that, I am supportive of this tonight. However, I would like us to do better, and I truly believe this mantra, which is on our best day, we can always do better.
Yes, ma'am.
And I agree with Mr. Potter's comments, and I am grateful that the mayor paused the second hearing to allow this opportunity for stakeholders to be a part of the conversation. And I believe had we involved them earlier with the commissioners, some of these questions would have been answered and we would not have spent this round and around that we've been having.
And I will, Mr. Mayor, I'll make the commitment for us to set up on a regular schedule to have a meeting with the General Association of Contractors.
And if I might request, of course, the mayor's approval, is that that just be with the AGC and that no other individuals are invited unless they invite them or it's agreed upon ahead of time. If you're agreeing to that meeting and to bring that stakeholder to the table, I want them to have their voice heard.
Yes, ma'am. I have no problems with that whatsoever.
Commissioner Fox.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Hayden, let me just clarify one more time. So we've been operating for 4 years under this policy, this mandate.
Yes, ma'am.
And every single bid that we've put out, or talk to us about the bids. Have you been able to secure 18% in everything that we've put out? Has there ever been a time that this wasn't successful, that someone has been able to find 18%?
I will answer your question this way. every solicitation we put out on the street, and there was a goal set on that contract, we've been able to meet that goal.
The goal of the
Every
requirement.
solicitation we put
The
out.
goal of the requirement, you gotta be specific.
The requirement. On each contract, we've been able to meet that. Now, having said that, have we had a time when we put something on the street and the bids came back and they did not meet the requirement, and we had to reject those and put it back on the street? The answer to that is yes. But every solicitation we had on the street that had a requirement in it, the contractors have met what that requirement was.
Yes.
So I know that every bid is not the same, it's not the same size, but you mentioned earlier about some, or maybe it was Sandra mentioned that, you know, on some certain size, you know that 18% can be met, so maybe other sizes can't. Is there any way we could, I mean, I don't want to be beholden to the contractors, but I mean, if there are some of these kind of bids that you know already that this one looks like we can definitely make it, this one might not make the threshold, is there a way that we can have a communication process in place so that if you're wavering, I don't want to hold your feet to the fire with the contractors, but I feel like these are our partners, and we have a city that is, you know, thriving in large part because of the work that is being done in the construction field. And so I am 100% supportive also of finding small businesses and allowing them to be part of the process going forward and feeling like there is opportunity for all. But, you know, I just want there to be more communication in the process, and I don't want to hold this up tonight, having heard all the clarification from you that this is something we've already been working on under for 4 years, but I also just want to make sure that Michelle feels like we are being good partners and that we are, you know, turning to them for suggestions to make sure that we can all kind of find a happy medium in the future, if possible.
And I'm willing to make that commitment as well.
Commissioner Warren?
I think this is my final comment.
It doesn't have to be.
You know,
All night.
when we have had similar situations in the past where we have had communities, neighborhoods, people that have come out and felt that they were not a part of the process, we then went back and said that outreach was important and that outreach should be done, and the conversations had, even if the decision that people ultimately wanted was not necessarily the recommendation of staff, that there was some opportunity for conversation. There was because people need to be heard and need to feel that their position is valued. So I think that's where our missed opportunity was here, that we did not include the appropriate people at the appropriate time. But I do understand that where we are today is based off of what we have been practicing, what we have been using as a standard protocol for the last 4 to 5 years. And what we're doing today is to clear up the conversation and have the information match what we're actually doing. So it is not as though we're creating something new, we're simply saying that the language needs to match the protocol.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think that that is important to do, but moving forward, recognizing that we don't operate in a bubble and that we do need to have people that are a part of the conversation before it comes to the commission to weigh in and make the final decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Where are we with the disparity study? Have we finalized that? Do we get the?
We've gotten comments back from the firm we want to piggyback off of the county contract with.
Yeah.
It is with legal now.
Okay.
For them to put together the document that we'll then send to the contractor for them to sign
All right.
and get back to us.
And then generally from a process standpoint, once we have the final disparity study, we have to go through this whole round again where we're looking at requirements, goals, et cetera.
Yes, sir.
And that will happen sometime this year, presumably.
That is my hope, Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir.
All right, so we commissioners will have the broader conversation on percentages, goals, requirements, later this year once we get the disparity study.
Yes, sir.
So what's happening here is we're really just trying to get this language right to meet practices that have been going on since the last disparity study.
Yes, sir.
So can we at least cross that hurdle, and then we can have the broader discussions that people seem, and we'll make sure stakeholders, AGC, whoever else needs to be in the table as part of that conversation once we have the latest disparity study, right?
Yes, sir.
That can be done.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
just throw that out there, commissioners, that this isn't the end of the day when it comes to this issue. The issue is going to be ripe again once we get the disparity study, because we're going to need to make some revisions or to update our small and minority business ordinance.
Right.
And in that way, you can have the much broader discussion.
Yes,
if
sir.
that helps
Yeah.
give you any kind of comfort. But it would be great if we could at least get the ordinance language to match what we already have been doing. And then when the disparity study is finished, we'll have the broader discussion. Okay. All right, so we do have a motion. We have a second. That was for discussion. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Lambert.
I will just say, I am also in favor of when we make changes, that we have a process in place, that we make sure that our ordinances match our practices so that this doesn't happen again. Because I think it just helps everybody involved, not only the primes, but the subs as well, to it be in black and white in writing on our paper what is expected. And I look forward to that in the future.
I totally agree with you, Commissioner. And I must point out it was legal who pointed out to us that we had not corrected the language in the ordinance. But I will say once again, we had two things going on at the same time. We were developing a program for the MBEs, WBEs. You all had approved for the others, so the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any other discussion on the motion? All right, if there is none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
Nay.
All right, so motion carries 3-2. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner.
Okay. We will now turn
Mr.
to
Mayor?
item 11.2.
Mr. Mayor,
What?
would you like for me to read
It's
the
a
title?
It's an
of the
ordinance, isn't it? My bad, okay.
Ordinance,
Madam Clerk, can you
Ordinance
read?
number 5118-24, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 2, Administration, Division 1, Mayor's Office, to reflect the name change of the Office of Small and Minority Business Programs, further amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 66, Procurement, Article 9, Small Business Program, to reflect the office name, amending the definition of small business, establishing small business participation as required when a participation level is established, increasing the maximum small business participation to 18% for construction and master contracts under the program, and reorganizing and clarifying several provisions, providing a conflicts clause, a codification clause, and a severability clause, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign.
Nay.
All right, so I think the motion still carries 3-2. Okay. We'll now turn to 11.2. Public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 5123-25, a city-initiated request for a text amendment to Chapter 94, the Zoning and Land Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing, to increase the Broadway Mixed-Use District, BMUD, incentives from 3 to 7 floors, to provide clarification in cases where a property is requesting an upzoning, that the 50% bonus unit shall be taken from the original base zoning of the property, provide clarification of maximum floor area ratio allowed, and authorizing limited variance and waivers review for live local workforce housing developments by the City Commission. Ms. Aponte.
Good evening, Ana Maria Aponte, Assistant Development Services Director. This is the second reading, Mayor, but I have a couple of corrections, two corrections to the ordinance that was read on the first reading. The first one is on the title block. There was a mistake when in reference to the incentives for the BMOD. It says to increase the BMOD incentive from 3 additional floors to 7 floors. 7 floors is the total. The incentive is 4 additional, so that's one correction in there. And then also, the second correction is on table 17-1, that is regarding also the BMOD. The base for BMOD is 3 stories, and this is based on the proposed BMOD changes. Instead of being the ordinance that was read on the City Commission for the first reading included, it says strike through 3 additional stories and had labeled as 5 additional, is 4 additional for a total of 7 stories. So it's a correction. The total of stories was correct, but the additional floors added was incorrect. So it's 4 additional stories on top of the 3 that are a base for the BMOD. So those are the 2 corrections of the ordinance.
Very good. Any questions, comments for staff? Do we have any cards?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I believe there's one public comment card for 11.2.
You have one comment card for 11.2?
I'll pass it down. No, Nick Bixler.
Okay, Mr. Bixler?
Hi, everyone. Again, Nick Bixler, 1970 South Dixie Highway. I just wanted to articulate my support for this, especially the upzoning here for the purposes of affordable workforce housing. There's no secret that there is a need for additional workforce and affordable housing in our city and our county, despite tremendous efforts thus far to improve the stock. Upzoning is an important tool that we have to add to additional workforce and affordable housing because we don't have a lot of undeveloped land in our city. I think there was a thing before the Board of County Commissioners this past week where I think we're 150,000 units short of affordable and workforce housing in our county. So the allowance of additional units for this purpose, I think, is a well commended effort, and I appreciate that, and I hope to see your all support for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, I will entertain a motion.
I move approval of ordinance number 5123-25, amending Chapter 94 Zoning and Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing. This motion is based upon the factual testimony presented, the staff report, the recommendation of the Planning Board, and the findings that the proposed amendment complies with all of the amendment standards found in Section 9432 of the city's zoning and land development regulations.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 5123-25, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of West Palm Beach, Florida at Chapter 94, Zoning and Land Development Regulations, Article 17, Affordable and Workforce Housing, Section 94-551, Live Local Workforce Housing Development, to provide for commission review of variance or waiver requests. Section 94-552, Affordable and Workforce Housing Overlay, AWHO Development, Table 17-1, to increase BMUD incentives from 3 additional floors to 4 additional floors, and authorizing limited variance and waiver review for Live Local Workforce Housing Developments, to provide clarification for the bonus units in cases of upzonings, and provide clarification of the maximum floor area ratio allowed. Declaring these amendments to be consistent with the comprehensive plan of the city, providing a conflicts clause, a codification clause, and a severability clause, providing an effective date, and for other purposes.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll now turn to the quasi-judicial portion of the meeting. Commissioners, I need you to make your disclosures. We'll begin with President Ward.
As to matter 12.1, I have not had ex parte communications, have not received written communications, have not conducted an investigation, have not made a site visit, have not received expert opinions. As to item 12.2, I have had ex parte communications with the applicant's representative. I have not received written communications, have not conducted an investigation, have not made a site visit, have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you, Commissioner Lambert.
Thank you. As to item 12.1, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted a site investigation. I have not made a site visit, nor have I received expert opinions. As to 12.2, I have had ex parte communications with the applicant's representative. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Commissioner Baduzzi.
As to item 12.1, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation, not made a site visit. I've not received expert opinions. As to item 12.2, I have had ex parte communications. I've not received, ex parte communications with a representative of the applicant. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, nor have I received any expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made a part of the record.
Thank you. Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. As to item 12.1, I have not had ex parte communications, not received written communications, not conducted an investigation, not made a site visit, not received expert opinions. As to item 12.2, I have had ex parte communications with the applicant representative. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit, nor have I received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox.
As to item 12.1, I have not had ex parte communications. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. As to item 12.2, I have had ex parte communications with a representative of the applicant. I have not received written communications. I have not conducted an investigation. I have not made a site visit. I have not received expert opinions. I request that these disclosures and all written communications be made part of the record.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you swear in all witnesses, please?
Would everyone wishing to speak on items 12.1 and 12.2 please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12.1, public hearing of resolution number 284-24, a request by Docks and More Construction Company on behalf of Joe Marks for a Class A special use permit with a waiver for a dock and boat lift to have a length greater than 100 feet located at the subject property of 8002 Flagler Court.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Siobhan Garso. I'm with Docks and More Construction. I'm here on behalf of Donna Isham, general contractor and owner. We are requesting to go out 50 foot. Hold on. The existing dock is at 60, hold on one second. The existing dock is at 67 foot out into the water right now. We are asking to do a 50-foot extension. That would bring us to a total of 117. The client is getting a larger boat and needs deeper water depth is why. There are other properties to the north and the south, as you can see, and he will not be farther out than those other properties. We're gonna still stay in the middle 1/3 of the property as well. Any questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant before I go to staff? No? Okay, thank you. Staff? What say you, staff?
Alex Singlier, planner for the record. I just want to quickly clarify, the length is going to be 131. She didn't include the boat lift. I did include the boat lift in my calculation, so the waiver request will be for additional 31 feet. And just to clarify, the applicant did provide the Army Corps of Engineers permit and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And just a brief summary of what those, why this is getting requested is just because safe mooring times of all the times, because what is happening is since they do have an existing boat, depending on the time, tidal conditions can change, and it's just for a safety component. Planning board did recommend approval. Staff does find that it meets all the standards and is recommending approval of Resolution 28424. Any questions?
Very good. Any questions for staff? Commissioner Lambert?
You just went really quickly. Can you just put it back on slide 7 for a second? I just wanted to read the rest of your bullets. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a question?
Nope, that was my question.
Oh, that was your question. Okay. All right. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask if the neighbors are aware of this, if there's any issues in.
The neighbors are aware of it. We did do proper advertising with sign and mailers. I had one phone call that just asked for clarification on what a Class A application is, but they were all set once they found out it was just a dock application.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? All right. Do we have any cards? All right. If there are no other comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 284-24 based on the findings that the petition meets the required standards in section 94-36E3 through 5, sections 94-313A3, and section 94-273A2 of the City of West Palm Beach zoning and land development regulations.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 12.2, public hearing of resolution number 1-25 regarding a request by Joe Verdone of Carlton Fields on behalf of Flagler Residential LLC for the approval of a major plan development amendment to the 1309 South Flagler Drive Residential Plan Development, RPD, to modify waivers, development regulations, and to update various plan sheets based on the build-out of the site and approving various easements and maintenance agreements. Mr. Verdone.
Good evening. My name is Joe Verdone, and I'm with the law firm of Carlton Fields. I'm a certified planner and senior government consultant. We're here tonight representing Flagler Residential, who is finishing up the building that's known as the 1309 RPD, or the Forte. We have 7 minor amendments to talk about that we're trying to get approval for as a major amendment. The main reasons that we're here tonight is these issues were tied to resolutions, which were tied to conditions of approval, and we're here to amend those conditions. I'll run through those 7 changes for you right now. The first is a setback variance. The original building had 5 columns across the front. That seemed to be a little bit heavy. The architects decided to make it 3 columns and conceal the columns on the side. This has an impact of impacting the setback that was 72 feet from Dr. Nasser's property line. This does not change the level of the floor. The floor remains at 10 feet from his property line, but the glass window goes in front of the column instead of behind the column. So it affects 25 square feet of the building area on 2 floors. And basically, this is what the end result would be, is the concealing of that column. There's no change to the activity that's available on that floor. That's the first change. The second change, and that would just change from 72 to 67 feet as the internal setback on levels 2 and 3. The second amendment is to add safety railing. As part of our review through the building department, it was brought up to our attention that we had a safety railing requirement. We had very specific conditions about railing and fencing within the project. We worked with staff to allow a black safety fence that will be decorative. It will be a black picket fence hid within the landscaping. This will prevent people from falling in this area where it's adjacent to Dr. Nasser. There's a grade differential just to be safe, that anybody getting out of their car that happened to fall through the bushes wouldn't fall over and fall down 10 feet. But as an OSHA requirement, that is a requirement. Amendment 3 is a height exception based. The code allows for 10% of the overall building height to be exempt for the mechanical space on the building. As part of the construction process, we overran that by 6 inches, and we're here to ask for a variance of 0.167% to allow an increase to have the mechanical space be 30 feet 6 inches versus 30 feet. That would be non-discernible as far as anybody could see from any side of the project. That basically, there's no change to the building at all. Amendment 4 was just to amend the plans and conditions that are referenced in the resolution. Those plans will now reference the construction plan, so it'll be easier for the staff to close out the project for CO. Amendments 5, 6, and 7 revolve around our commitment to build the Art Walk, which is Acacia Road. It was originally thought that Acacia Road was a city right-of-way, and we were going to seek easements and permission to develop the right-of-way from the city. We're changing those conditions now. As a result of our title research, we found out it was a privately owned parcel. Because this was such an integral part of the project, the client went out and bought that parcel and is committed to developing and delivering the Art Walk, but on a private parcel. So these 3 conditions are being amended to reflect just the ownership being Flagler Residential, and that we're granting the easements to the city and the general public for the Art Walk. Everything else remains the same. I can answer any questions you may have, but that's pretty much the end of our presentation. We're looking forward to getting a CO in the near term, probably in the next 60 days. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
Thank you for that presentation. Any questions, comments for the applicant before we hear from staff? Okay, thank you, Mr. Verdone. Mr. Schneider?
Good evening. For the record, Eric Schneider, Principal Planner. Mr. Verdone covered the the items that are within the changes. I did want to state that the Planning Board voted unanimously to approve this in finding that it meets all of the standards, the amendment standards found in the zoning and land development regulations. Staff also agreed with this. So are there any questions of staff?
Very good. Any questions for staff? Commissioner Lambert.
Thank you. I am sure that ownership is still equally committed to the Art Walk, so thank you for that. I just wanted to know from staff's perspective, does the ownership, now that it's in their ownership, change anything as far as our requirements or expectations for that Art Walk?
No, actually, and you'll see in your backup material all of the agreements, so we have those agreements in place. Really what ends up happening is instead of the city owning it and having a maintenance agreement with the HOA, I guess would be where it would be eventually transferred to, it's now going to be owned eventually by the owner / HOA, who is now we're going to have just a utility easement across it, because underneath the Acacia, which we always thought was historically a road, a lot of utilities are in there. Our utilities, drainage, water, and then a bunch of other public utilities as well, such as gas, electric, so forth. So those are now the responsibility of, when everything's been done, we've got the agreements so that we can get in there and work. The owner's representative will move the planters and so forth and restore the pavers that are in there after we're done with work if needed. But as part of this project, all of those city utilities are being replaced with brand new infrastructure. They have been 100 years old. And so there should be no need to replace any city utilities for a long time, because they'll all be the developers putting those up to code or up to current standards, as well as Curry Crescent, which is behind the project. So the developer's doing a lot of upgrades as part of this project.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your nods of continued support, because I know how important that Art Walk was to the original approval of this project, so thank you so much.
Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, we have any cards? All right, very good. If there are no further questions, then I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 1-25, approving a major plan development amendment for the 1309 South Flagler Drive residential planned development. This motion is based upon the factual testimony presented, the application submitted, the staff report, and the recommendation of the planning board, along with the finding that the standards of section 94-32 of the zoning and land development regulations have been met.
Is there a second? Is it moved?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we will now turn to public comment. Are there any cards?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll go to comments from the dais, beginning with you, President Ward.
Thank you. I want to remind residents that the next North End Police Chief meeting with our new official chief is Wednesday, February 11th, 6:30 at Gaines Park. And if you're so inclined, the following evening at Gaines Park will be another bike master plan public meeting, this time in the North End. So at Gaines Park, that's Thursday, February 13th at from 6 to 8. And I also wanted to notify any parents listening that there are summer camp scholarship programs available. The county's summer camp scholarship program application for summer 2025 is open and will be open until Friday, April 4th. The program provides full tuition and fees for summer camp for children residing in families with income at or below 185% of the federal poverty guidelines. And for more information, you can visit Palm Beach County Youth Services page, or you can contact my office, and we're happy to give you the information. I was excited to celebrate with the rest of my commissioners and the mayor tonight's achievements. It's been a long evening, but it started out fantastically, and I loved hearing about all of the achievements from each of our honorees, and that's it. Thanks.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy Black History Month. Black History Month was started by Carter G. Woodson, a Harvard-trained historian. It was first introduced in 1915, and it was recognized in 1976 by President Gerald Ford, and every American president since that time has recognized Black History Month. I want to say it really means a lot to me to be a commissioner representing the city of West Palm Beach. When I go to the League of Cities meetings, it means something when people flock to me when they realize that I'm the commissioner for West Palm Beach. It means something that we are on the Healthcare District Board, that we are on the Homeless Advisory Board, that we go to Palm Beach County Day and participate in Palm Beach County Day along with the County Commission in most of the meetings that we attend, that we have two commissioners that represent the city of West Palm Beach on the TPA. This is the only city, the only municipality that I witnessed that has two representatives on the CPA, the TPA. When we rolled out the CARES dollars, we incorporated our staff in that. That was not something that any other municipality was doing. We were innovative in our approach. We recognized the value that our employees had to our city, and we did something that no other municipality was doing. And I applaud how aggressively we have been approaching homelessness and how aggressively we approach workforce and affordable housing. I don't want to sit and ever look at what anyone else is doing or not doing and have that be my point of whether or not I believe it's the right thing to do. I think that we should always be on the edge of vision and creativity and doing what we feel is the best for the most people possible, the best choices for the most people at all times. West Palm Beach officially became a city on November 5th, 1894. It was incorporated as a municipality. It was the first incorporated municipality in South Florida, established to support the growing population of laborers and workers serving the nearby resort town of Palm Beach, developed by Henry Flagler. At the time of incorporation, the city had only 564 residents. Over the years, it expanded into a major hub of business, tourism, and culture in South Florida. The city of West Palm Beach has seen a notable history of Black leadership through the service of 8 distinguished commissioners who have served the commission. These trailblazers include Eva W. Mack and Ruby Bullock, who were the first 2 Black women to serve on the commission in 1978. Mack, of course, went on to become the first Black mayor of the city in 1982. And where she served until 1985. Mary Hooks, who made her mark through her dedication to improving the city's public service and infrastructure, serving from 1993 to 1999. Ike Robinson, whose tenure was marked by a focus of economic development and community empowerment from 1999 until 2015. We know that because Mr. Robinson makes sure that we all know that he was the longest serving commissioner for the city of West Palm Beach. Keith James, who served at the City Commission from 2011 to 2019 and became the very first strong Black mayor of the city of West Palm Beach in 2019, and is currently still serving as our mayor. We had Corey Nearing, who followed and was an important voice for diversity and community engagement and local governance, who served from 2015 through 2021. And Richard Riles, who served from 2019 until 2020. And then Shalonda Warren, me. I began to serve the commission, and I am the 8th Black commissioner to serve in the city of West Palm Beach since 1894. I'd like to stop for a moment and recognize Mary Butler Hooks. Mary Butler Hooks, as a public servant, Mary was the first elected to the city of West Palm Beach commission. She was first elected in March of 1993 and served until 1999. Mary's tenure as a member of the city commission was marked by a period of intense restoration and renovation of the city, which included the public-private development of City Place, launching the city into national prominence and earning it a reputation as one of America's best medium-sized cities. She was a leading force in establishing the city's minority business enterprise program. Mary served at the helm of the capital campaign for the construction of the Martin Luther King Memorial Park located in this waterfront city. In 1999, Governor Jeb Bush appointed Mary as the Secretary of Florida Department of Labor and Employment Security. She had a budget of greater than $2 billion in 1999. During her tenure as secretary, she served on the boards of Workforce Florida Incorporated, Enterprise Florida, the Florida Council of 100. Mary's last career days were spent as the governor's liaison with the Agency of Workforce Innovation, developing partnerships with organizations and communities throughout the state of Florida for the delivery of governmental services. And if I went through all of her recognitions, it'd be like we were revisiting Dr. Emma Banks. There are way too many to name, but I would like to say that the Honorable Mary Hooks was survived by her husband, Lee Hooks, and Brandon Hooks. And Lee Hooks, as we know, is a member of today's commission team. And I know that doing the right thing is not always easy. And where we fall today, what we call our present will one day be the history. And what will our future generations say of the work that we do today? Our future is counting on us, all of us, to do the right thing for the most people possible, whenever possible. And that concludes my statement.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Fox.
Thank you so much. This Thursday, the CRA will be holding the first quarter Historic Northwest Community Meeting at the Heart and Soul Park. It's at Thursday, February 6th from 6 to 8. And there's always a lot of good updates, so encourage everybody to attend. I'm really excited that we were able to pass our Complete Streets policy tonight and just ensuring our commitment to Safe Streets for All, and it could not come at a better time because this Thursday and Friday, the Safe Streets Summit will be hosted by the Palm Beach TPA in the city of West Palm Beach. This is a summit that alternates every 3 years from Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. So this is our year. So there couldn't be a better time for us to be able to announce our brand new Complete Streets policy. And if any of my colleagues would like to attend the summit, there's going to be a lot of great speakers. There's going to be walking tours, biking tours. So it's this Thursday and Friday. At the Hilton. I would love to see you all there. And that's all I have. Happy Black History Month. Thanks.
Commissioner Baduzzi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just feel it necessary to just briefly explain that by no means should my comments from earlier be taken that I am somehow against providing for equity within our city and making sure that there's minority representation and small business representation and women representation in our contracts here in the city. I felt it was necessary to know what others were doing, and I still feel that way, because in order to determine whether we are being equitable and whether there is equity, it demands that we look at what others are doing as well, to make sure that we're not somehow missing the mark in providing equitable representation for all. So that's my comment on that. I certainly would like to see the minority and women-owned and small business requirement as a goal increased to 20%, 25%. You know, as a goal, I think we should be there. I think we should be strongly encouraging it. But without some of that further information, I was hesitant to make it mandatory. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Lambert.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank city staff who participated in the community input gathering for the mobility plan. I know that that process was set up citywide, and I know that there has been some communication from residents in the south end of our city concerned that this was a means to push bike lanes on South Flagler, but it's my understanding that this was a community input gathering exercise, and that no plans are put forth at this time. And I just want an opportunity to be corrected if I have a different understanding of what's moving forward.
What's your question?
Is the community meetings that took place over the last month about the mobility plan just about information gathering to find out what the community wants so that we can put together a plan, or is this an opportunity for the city to push forward a bicycle lane on South Flagler without input?
Mr. Fana, would you like to address that, please? I mean, it's obvious, but I'll let Mr. Fana address it.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Armando Fana, Assistant City Administrator. So just to correct one thing, it's not the mobility plan that's being discussed. It's the update to the bicycle master plan. And that you are correct. That is just to get input on the bicycle master plan, the existing one, amendments to it, and there are no plans to do any additional bike lanes within the South Flagler Drive area.
Thank you. While we're on South Flagler Drive, just want to update residents that we are aware that there are places on the seawall that are damaged and need to be repaired, and that Public Works is working on that and will continue the efforts that they're making to repair that damage. I too want to comment that at the beginning of this meeting, it was extremely inspirational, and I thoroughly enjoyed learning about our residents, many of whom I thought I knew, but then hearing their lengthy accolades and accomplishments was really a great way to start the meeting, and I commend and thank all of those leaders for their efforts in our community. And on that note, I want to also commend Commissioner Warren for receiving the Humanitarian Award at Project 12 event this last weekend. If those of you who have never attended this, it is an event to end all events. There was a couple of hundred individuals there recognizing those individuals such as Shalonda for her work in the community, as well as recognizing 12 outstanding Black men in the community who are leading by example and mentoring others in the community. And congratulations to Shanitria Moore for leading this organization and providing grants and scholarships in the community. And then to round out our comments on Black History Month, I'm grateful for the efforts that our Mandel Library is putting forth, including painting, art, interactive activities, and I would encourage those interested to visit the online calendar of activities and participate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My comments. Last Thursday, I delivered my 6th State of the City address at the Palm Beach County Convention Center. Thanks to all of those who attended in person or tuned in online. Every year I look forward to the opportunity to reflect on our city's growth and major accomplishments, and to acknowledge and express gratitude for all the vital work that city employees do every day. Our city is thriving because of their dedication to excellence. As we move forward, I will continue to work toward ensuring others see us as we truly are, a city defined by our commitment to live well, lead boldly, and do what's right. Together, we will build the future that we deserve. If you'd like to watch the full address, the recording will be found at youtube.com/westpalmtv. This past weekend, I was pleased to attend the Junior League Spring in the Spring Training 5K. Spring training means so much to this community, and with it being just around the corner, first spring training game is Saturday, February 22nd at Cacti Park of the Palm Beaches. I'm wishing the players and all those who attend the games a fantastic and eventful season. I was honored to receive the Marine Advocate Award recently during the Marine Industries Association's annual member awards. West Palm Beach is a dynamic hub of culture, commerce, and community, and the marine industry plays a key role in helping keep us buoyant with visitors, hotel lodgings, jobs, and of course, marine adventures. This is especially true during the annual annual Palm Beach International Boat Show, which is right around the corner, starting on March 19th for a total of 5 days. The boat show will attract nearly 60,000 visitors and have tens of millions of dollars in local economic impact. As one of our city's signature events, I'm pleased to partner with and advocate for the marine industry, and I'm very much looking forward to this year's boat show. Later this week, I'll be sitting down with Vanderbilt's Board of Directors during a meeting hosted at the Norton Museum of Art to welcome our esteemed guests to the city of West Palm Beach. Their board is actually meeting here in West Palm as opposed to Nashville. Happy to have them here. As many of you know, Vanderbilt will be building a campus here in our community, bringing programs and initiatives that will transform our downtown area. I'm grateful for this historic partnership, and I'm very much looking forward to introducing the board to our great city and community leaders. The city's art program, Art Life West Palm Beach, has partnered with the Mandel Public Library to introduce a new citywide initiative titled Collection Connection. This initiative encourages residents and visitors to explore the numerous artworks that enrich our city's public spaces. To participate, those interested can pick up their free art passport during the launch event at the library on February 12th at 4 p.m. or at a service desk at the library any day of the week. Few upcoming events. Thursday, February 6th at 6 p.m., the CRA is hosting the historic Northwest District's quarterly community outreach meeting in Heart and Soul Park. The CRA will provide updates on projects while city departments discuss top community concerns, including safety and sanitation. And you can now register for the Bond Readiness and Technical Assistance Program, which will begin next month. Participants will have access to expert-led workshops and personalized strategy sessions to prepare emerging minority and women-owned business enterprises to achieve their bonding goals. To register and learn more about the program, visit bondreadinessprogram.com. So that concludes my remarks for tonight. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the great city of West Palm Beach. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.